The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is June 22nd, 2023. And let me check it first. I want to invite you to go to talkrealsolutions.com, but I think I've been having problems with the website lately. We'll see if it's coming up. Well, it's up. So I want to invite you to go to talkrealsolutions.com, and on there, you will find the 3-point plan to Black empowerment, and financial freedom. At the bottom of the page, it has 3 points. The first point is to get together with like-minded people. The second point is to stop all unnecessary spending. The third point is, as a unit, invest or save your money in a verified and trusted institution. A great goal will be for you to open a Black-owned business, and right above it, you have a link to African American owned banks and credit unions. And we could all start moving our money to these institutions to start practicing group economics today. And you can check out the links and articles there. That's normally what we put up on the website as we talk about news articles during the week. But tonight we just do it a little bit different. I'll probably fly off the cuff and talk about a couple of things to keep you guys entertained. And if you do want to join the conversation, you can join the conversation at 1-717-908-1834. Yeah, you can join the conversation at 717-908-1834, and the participant code is 917324. And you can call in, and I'll get you on the line here if you want to have a conversation. Once again, I appreciate folks for calling in and joining us as we do our thing over here. And I hope you had a happy Juneteenth. I know that it's a fairly new holiday. And folks, what's up, MJ? I see you tonight. Usually I don't get to the chat room till later on, but I did celebrate Juneteenth, and I hope you guys did too. And I hope that we're spreading the message amongst our community about our independence, about, the last day of slavery, and really the first day that all Black Americans was freed in Galveston, Texas, right? When the Union soldiers posted the sign on the church down there and notified those slaves in Galveston that it was free. So try to, like I am doing, grab a little piece of that history and try to repeat it, so people, it'll be etched in the minds of Americans, your family specifically, because it is important that we continue to push on our own national independence and celebrate that. And I know there was a lot of pushback when that stuff first started happening. It was funny. It was on BTR and everybody would call in and they would, I ain't celebrating no Juneteenth. I'm gonna celebrate the 4th of July and all this kind of dumb shit. And those are the conversations that we had right here on this show, where people were in their ignorance was embracing what we've been indoctrinated with when it comes to these holidays. And it's a learning process. That's the way I looked at all that stuff. That's the way I look at everything. Is this a learning process? As time goes on and people get wiser, you learn things, and you know, if you stay stuck in your stupidity, then you'll run around here looking like, well, the Republican Party, basically. They're just stuck in their stupidity and they won't change their belief system. And they look dumb right now. But, you know, us as African Americans, we're constantly learning, you know, and you need to embrace that. But some of us get stuck, you know, especially that's why I had to stop fucking around with the Black conscious community, because that's an area. Now, I'm not throwing no shade over that way, but a lot of those people are just stuck. They're just stuck in repeating the same old things, and it's not moving anything forward. Perhaps you can look at it in such a way for the new people that join the Black conscious community. It might be waking the new people up, but whenever your message stays the same over and over again and you don't grow and build off of it, then you just seem like, you know, you're never gonna grow, you know. So that's the way I look at it. What's up, East Coast? And so that's what we got to do when it comes to Juneteenth, is we got to continue to push that message in our community about our independence. We got to celebrate it. We got to embrace it. Some people are going to celebrate it a certain way that you might not celebrate it, and some people might do some things that you agree with. Some people might do some things that you disagree with. But the important thing is that we all recognize that day in our history in this country, and we continue to celebrate it. Now, it's kind of strange. I was telling someone the other day that Juneteenth is right in the middle of Pride Month, you know. And if that's a good example. If you look at what Pride Month was and where it is now, those people don't have no shame about continuing their tradition of promoting that time in the LGBT community. They don't have any issues about, you know, trying to make sure that they're recognized and you know, you see rainbows everywhere. You see big corporations getting boycotted, like Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch and Target and any other places that have the perception of supporting that community. You know, believe it or not, those boycotts are good for that movement. Those boycotts are good for that movement. Because now they're talking about the LGBT community more as the other people that is opposed to it boycott, right? So we need to make some noise, basically, is what I'm saying with Juneteenth. We need to make sure that people understand what it is and not have this perception that we used to have about, you know, it's just another holiday that the white man handed us and all this kind of dumb shit that they were saying. And we got some people in our community that think that way. You know, I talk to them. You know, that they're not willing to embrace certain historical facts about their own community, and that's a shame. But anyway, it's gone. But I was just trying to say that I hope people have celebrated that holiday in our community. I mean, that's what we got. There's no other way to put that, you know, and people need to celebrate it. So don't look for me to ever talk down about it. Don't look for me to ever say anything negative about it. Just like I embrace our ancestors, even though we've had times in our community where people talk down about our ancestors, and you know when you hear them talking about John Lewis and all of this kind of stuff and MLK and you know we heard them talk down about those folks. I would never do that. I would never do that because at that period of time, those people really put up a fight and a struggle, so I could benefit or I could have at least, or we could be at a point in society where we are right now. So why in the world would I sit here in 2023 and denigrate the efforts that they made? That is just silly to me. They may not have done it the way that you wanted it to get done. They may have rubbed shoulders with people that you didn't want them to rub shoulders with, but the main point is that how far forward did they push the needle? And if you look at the accomplishments of our ancestors, they pushed the needle pretty far. I think our generation, moving forward, dropped the ball. There is no fight in us, and we're so divided that we can't never come together behind a message. We got these social media superstars trying to enrich themselves off of our suffering. You can say what you want to about the conscious community and others on the internet, but all they're doing is using our suffering and our pain and our story so they can get AdSense money and donations and not moving the ball forward in legal means, with policy or with anything. We don't see them moving the ball forward, but they are, and they do have their hands out when it comes to receiving their donations. And I think that's a shame that whenever you look at our community and you look at social media and you see people just they take up the message about black unity, they take up the message about things need to get done, but whenever it comes to doing something like Boyce Watkins, he has this whole financial message that he got and about educating black people financially. And we've seen the number of frauds and scams that he's been involved in, but yet still he know that some of our populations are very vulnerable and they are easy when it comes to a well-articulated black person. They're easy to manipulate because you sound good, you sound like that preacher in the pulpit, right? And people fall for that easily, because when it's all said and done, the majority of us is looking for somebody to follow. We're looking for a leader. We're looking for the MLKs. We're looking for the Mega Everts. We're looking for the Malcolm X's. We're looking for that person so you can get in that amen corner and say, amen, brother, let's go. That's just that's not a black thing, but that's a human thing, right? Because if you look at the Republican Party, that's exactly what they're doing when it comes to Donald Trump. And even you can look at the Democrat Party. That's kind of what they're doing when it comes to Joe Biden, right? You don't see anybody running against Joe Biden. Where is the other Democrat nominees? Well, they wanting Joe Biden to save the damn day. He can't even stand up on his own goddamn 2 feet for for a longest period of time, and they trying to get behind this guy to be their leader again, and that's how we live as humans. It's in our nature to be tribal in that manner and look for leaders, but you got to make smart choices when it comes to these people, right? And Barack Obama is a great example of the nation making a smart choice when it came to a leader. I can't think of no other leader other than Obama that actually fits that mold. You can name corruption and all kinds of crazy thing about these other leaders. George Bush, he sent the country to war for no goddamn reason, kill hundreds of thousands of people in the desert, kill tens of thousands of American soldiers for no reason. And I think that was terrible. George Bush also, used that opportunity to take our rights away when it came to the stuff after 9/11. What was it, the Patriot Act and all that kind of stuff? He changed the goddamn Constitution. He took some of our freedoms away, and people don't say that, but that's exactly what the hell he did when it came to these warrantless wiretaps and being able to search people. The Constitution was a document that you could actually get behind and have some teeth, but year by year they take bits and pieces away from it, and it weakens the democracy. And it's happening so slow that people don't realize it, But hopefully, I know I'm just rambling, but hopefully, with what's going on with Donald Trump and these legal proceedings, that there be some justice done when it comes to Trump. I hope that something happens. Now, like I was telling people last week, I want to see Donald Trump behind bars. I want to see him with a serial number on an orange jumpsuit. I want to see him locked the fuck up. I really do. Because he's a criminal. There is no doubt, if you got half a brain, that this man is a habitual criminal, and he's been committing crimes over his lifetime. He's been committing crimes. He's been robbing. He's been lying. He's been cheating. He's been stealing. He's the most ghetto, ratchet, just unhinged criminal that was able to get away with these things because of his power and influence and his name. He was able to get away with so much in the past that I guess he grown accustomed to not being held accountable, right? So if you grow accustomed to something, then you're going to continue to do it. And that's what happened with Donald Trump. When you look at when he got impeached the first time, and white America, white men, slapped him on the wrist, didn't hold him accountable. The Senate didn't charge him. What did he do again? Well, he did another impeachable offense, right? And when that didn't work, and they slapped him on his wrist and they didn't hold him accountable, what did he do? Well, he tried to overthrow the government with a coup. He tried to overthrow the government because they ain't nobody ever held that man accountable. Never. While he was in office, he allowed his family to use our tax dollars as piggy banks, and he was able to manipulate the dumbest Americans to support him and financially give him the power to continue to run this facade of a fucking candidacy, this fake ass damn populist position. What he did was he woke up the damn racists. That's what he did. And I say it all the time, America is a racist country. That's what the hell we are. That's how we was found. It's a racist country. People don't want to say that. People want to think that, we've got unicorns and rainbows and everything is all good in this country. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. We got a lot of work to do in this country. Has we made progress, leaps and bounds when it comes to racism? Yes, we have. But have we made it to the finish line yet? Fuck no, we ain't nowhere near it. Right? We're nowhere near it. So America is a racist country, and the Republican Party realized that there's more racists in this country than they are people that want to be progressive or liberal in their thoughts, right? They realize that is a big part of the American populace is racist. That is why they don't have a problem with the Proud Boys showing up to their rally. That's why they don't have a problem flying that racist ass gang sign, Blue Lives Matter flag on their fucking uniforms and at events. They don't have a problem flying those racist emblems, the swastika. They don't have a problem destroying Black history and banning books. They don't have a problem telling us that they're not going to talk about CRT or critical race theory. They don't have a problem getting rid of the equity and diversion programs. They don't have a problem labeling everything that is Black woke. They don't have a problem doing that because America is a racist country. It has always been a racist country. And that's what the Republican Party and Donald Trump and coons like Sarge and ABC, that's how they function because of this racism in America, and they want to be one of them. They actually know that America is a racist country, so they want to get on what they perceive as the winning team, right? And be on that side that wins. But what we have found out is that the messaging of racism is getting harder and harder to push forward, right? The messaging of hate, the messaging of just divisiveness is getting harder and harder to push forward. And what I mean by that is back in the day where you seen the pictures on the internet where you seen that everybody was invited to a lynching, or everybody was invited to a trial where a Black man was going to get murdered. You know, the whole fucking town showed up. You know, you can't get them to participate like that no more, but you can get them to support it under their breath. Because we seen that whenever you seen that guy get murdered on the subway in New York. And the murderer ended up with what, $21 million? You know, so they support that stuff under their breath. I can't remember what he ended up with, but he ended up with millions of dollars in support compared to the other guy that got killed. I think he ended up with maybe, I don't know, $8,000-9,000, something like that. So, but they still support the idea of gathering around that lynching. But they do it silently. They do it under their breath. They do it through policy, right? They do it through gerrymandering. They do it through banning books. They do it through restricting our access to resources. They don't have to show up at the damn lynchings no more because their power and their positions in society allow them to silently show up to them lynchings and try to assert authority through whatever means they can in this society, right? They don't have to be boisterous about it. You can see the KKK then went from hoods to khakis, right? You can see that they went from wearing sheets to wearing polo shirts, right? That's what you see is a transformation of this racism in this country, right? And acceptance, if you will, in the messaging by even some of our own people criticizing us as being woke. By some of our leaders sitting there with their mouth shut as they ban Black authors, right? As they create these battles against CRT and sitting the board meetings and the town halls and the school meetings and rail against critical race theory, when what they're really saying is that we don't want anything that's progressively Black taught to our children. Because CRT don't exist in grades K through 12, but that's where they're messaging at. They're trying to make sure that the parents in society is reached with this anti-Black hatred whenever they talking about anti-CRT or anti-woke. This is what you're watching, right? You're watching the machine at work, and it's so abundance in their messaging that is overwhelming. You can't put out all of these little fires because they're doing it in such a vast way through fucking Fox News, on the FM radio stations, through right-wing media, through social media. Elon Musk, the racist, had bought in a fucking social media platform that allow racism, right? And then you got the governors, and then you got the mayors in these towns that's got their own little agendas. You can't put out all of those fucking fires. And they know that their messaging is strong. So they're going to continue to push this idea that somehow or another black is bad because this is a racist fucking country, right? It has always been a racist country. I don't want it to be racist. I wish that every one of us could get along, no matter what your skin color. But whenever you see video after video of black people getting stopped for traffic tickets and ending up dead at the hand of these KKK members with badges, with state-sponsored fucking genocide, you've got to, it's got to bother you. It bothers me whenever I see these Karens in these grocery stores or these Kens on social media just frustrated and has fell into the propaganda so much that they lash out, and you hear them in 2023 calling people the N-word, telling little black children that they can't swim in their swimming pools at these hotels, or questioning them, or following them around because of the color of the skin. This is a racist country, right? And I keep saying that because you need to know what you're up against when it comes to these politics in America. When it comes to these politics, this racist country is on the side of the Republican Party. When you look at people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Kevin McCarthy and Matt Gaetz, when you look at these Republicans like Lindsey Graham and Tim Coon Scott, when you look at these Republicans, you can see that they support white supremacy and black oppression and racism in this country. This is a racist country. If Tim Scott, the only black senator, I think he's the only black senator up there, I don't know, he might be, but the black senator from South Carolina, if he's got to make it part of his political speech to say on a microphone and one of the biggest stages in the world that America is not a racist country, if that's got to come from a black man in his political campaign, then you know this is a racist fucking country. I mean, when he says that, it has the direct opposite effect of its intended message when it comes to my ears. But the people that are listening to this message, you know who he's talking to. Whenever you see Indian heritage Nikki Haley grab the presidential political stage, and that's got to be one of her key points, is saying that America is not a racist country. You dumb bitch. You know that America is a racist country. And people tried so hard to make sure that I don't say those 6 words, America is a racist country, 5 words. People try so hard that we don't say America is a racist country. They don't want to hear those those 5 words, America is a racist country. But it is. All you have to do is look at the beginning of how it was created, where the resources went, where the resources are at now, and then stop making up these lies and saying that it's our own damn fault and that we're in the economic conditions that we're in when we see where the money is going. We see it. And then we got our own people saying, well, yeah, you know, if you just work as hard as I do, then you can have the same goddamn thing. That is a fucking lie. Do y'all, man, listen, Y'all just don't know how hard of a struggle it is. Because listen, what you've done, right, is you created a system. Now, we talk about systemic racism and the systematic racism that causes them to be more rich and have more wealth than we have. But there's the other side of that coin, right? So if you start somebody off with nothing, the systemic system of poverty is also passed down through generation. So you won't be able to take that land, turn it into money, buy that business, flip that money, buy you a bigger business, sell that bit. You won't be able to do that because you're in the poverty part of this capitalistic bullshit system that has made one side wealthy and the other side impoverished. But people tell us because we're on the other side of that goddamn equation that somehow or another it's our fault. And it's not. Because I've seen some of the smartest, the most brilliant, the most hardest working, the most intelligent black people walking around this planet throughout my whole goddamn life. I'll include myself in that damn category because I know I'm more qualified than a lot of fucking my counterparts that I run into. I know that I'm more educated. I know it for a fact, but just happenstance, I guess. Their families own property. They was able to give it to their children and pass it on. And so so we sitting at the same level through generations, but economically, you got somebody to back you up, and I don't. You see, that's how that works. Because America is a racist country. And Donald Trump has tapped into that racism. And that is why he is so emboldened when he breaking the laws. That's why he can buy these judges and have them legislate in his favor. That's how he can have this court case drawn out 2 years after the fucking crime, right? And still not be held accountable. Because America is a racist country. Donald Trump is a dumbass. Donald Trump is an idiot. But because of the nature of this country, what this country sees, what the media sees, what MSNBC sees, what CNN sees, what Fox News sees is a white man. Period. That's why CNN invited that criminal, that person who got found liable for sexually abusing a woman the day prior, and they invited him to a stage to have a conversation with him because he's a white man. That's why Donald Trump is able to have his own platform, because he's a white man. Everybody knows the same thing about Donald Trump that you and I know. We know that his father was a goddamn KKK member. We know that he is racist. We know that he called Africa shithole countries. We know that in his goddamn cabinet, he had fucking white supremacists like Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, the Proud Boys, right? We know that for a fact. So the media knows this too. So why ain't they reporting on the racist Donald Trump, the anti-Semitic Donald Trump, the homophobic Donald Trump? Why ain't they reporting on that Donald Trump, and they're just reporting on the white man Donald Trump? You see? That's how that works. The grab him by the vagina, the grab him by the genitals Donald Trump. We don't even hear that no more. Don't you think that that's important for a presidential candidate? Don't you think that need to be highlighted by the media? Don't you think that the fact that his companies got found liable for felonies and the head of his companies went to fucking jail for committing crimes with Donald Trump companies to cover Donald Trump ass, don't you think that that's important? Don't you think the fact that he had a meeting in Trump Tower with Russians before his goddamn political campaign, don't you think that that's important? Don't you think that when Paul Manafort went to jail for cozying up with Russia for Donald Trump's campaign, don't you think that that's important? Yes, he should be held accountable for those goddamn documents. But in addition to that, prior to that, he's committed so many other crimes that the media just looks right past it. Why? And they invite him on for town halls because he's a white man. That's why. There is no other reason. If that would have been me or you, as a matter of fact, they just had a case where some lady took some damn some documents home, some top secret documents, and she got sentenced 4 years for that shit, taking top secret documents home. And this was in the news here today or yesterday. Let me see if I can find out who this was. I can't find it. Hold on, let me try one more thing. This was just recent news. Oh yeah, here it is right here. See, I don't lie. I have facts. Right here it says former FBI analyst sentenced to 4 years for taking top secret documents home. Okay, for former FBI analyst sentenced to nearly 4 years for illegal retaining classified documents. Kendra Kingsbury case shares some similarities with the ones involving former President Donald Trump and the classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. A former FBI intelligence agent and analyst was sentenced on Wednesday to nearly 4 years in prison for illegally retaining hundreds of classified documents at her home. Kendra Kingsbury, 50 years old, Garden City, Kansas, was sentenced to 3 years and 10 months in federal prison without parole by the District Judge Stephen R. Burrow in October. Kingsbury pled guilty to 2 counts of unlawfully retaining documents related to the national defense. Similar to the charges facing former President Donald Trump, Kingsbury's case involved alleged violations of the Espionage Act. Kingsbury, who held a top secret clearance, SCI, security clearance, was an intelligence analyst for the FBI for more than 12 years, was accused of repeatedly removing sensitive government materials from a secure workplace. Some documents she removed and some retained in her North Kansas City residence included national defense related classified documents. Prosecutors alleged in court that the documents that Kingsbury improperly removed and unlawfully retained, about 386 classified documents. The retained documents were stored in various formats, including hard drives and compact discs, prosecutors said. Kingsbury alleged to admitted to investigators that she retained the documents and destroyed other documents that could have included classified national defense related information. In their sentencing memo, the FBI ultimately determined that over 20,000 documents that originated either at the FBI or some other government agency were found in the defendant's residence. Kingsbury put the national security at risk by retaining classified information in her home that would have, if in the wrong hands, revealed some of the government's most important secretive methods of collecting essential national security intelligence, they wrote. Some other documents were classified secret by the FBI, prosecutors said, and they detailed the intelligence sources' message tied to the federal government, counterterrorism, and the counterintelligence efforts, as well as the defense of cyber threats. Now, you know, okay, this story goes on and on. Fuck this story. But my point is, Donald Trump has done the same thing as this FBI agent. Took classified shit to his house after he was president, stored them by the fucking pool room, put them in the fucking bathroom, had them in the attic, had them in the basement. He had them every goddamn where. He was asked for these documents. He lied to the FBI and said that the FBI had the documents that he had. And they had to subpoena his ass and go down there and found out he was lying. And they got the documents that they could fucking get. Right? The thing that caught me about this story is that the classified documents don't only mean documents in boxes. It could be hard drives. It could be data. We don't know what the fuck Donald Trump took from Washington. But I'm pretty sure they do. But we don't know what the hell he took from Washington. The only thing that we see, because we're the public and they try to feed us message in a certain way, only thing we see is those boxes sitting everywhere because we know what documents are. Documents come in folders, boxes, blah, blah, blah. So they showing us the boxes. But what the fuck did he really take? Why put all that effort into taking stuff if you're just going to be on display with the shit that you took? So what I'm saying with all that is we don't know what this man took. The FBI knows, and that's why they should have locked his ass up just as fast as they locked this fucking FBI agent up. But it's been taking 2 goddamn years for them to get to the part to where they indicted his ass and read the charges to him. And now it's going to take, I think they said in August. Now it's going to take another, I don't know how long, because he's going to fucking insert fucking goddamn defense tactics to prolong the goddamn case. They need to lock it. He need to be standing in front of a judge right now with his goddamn attorneys trying to tell the American people if he took them, why he took them, or there's a misunderstanding or whatever goddamn excuse. He need to be talking to the judge so the American people would know why the fuck he want to take America's top secret documents or whatever it was he took from Washington, D.C. We need to see that. It's not going to matter to Sarge or these other guys either way because, you know, of his white skin. But the American people need to see that this guy's a goddamn crook and he's going to lie and try to defend whatever the fuck his actions is because he's using the excuse of the Presidential Records Act, which that don't protect him from taking top secrets documents. It just don't. Oh, Lord. Okay, let me see. I don't know. I ain't looked at the board yet, y'all. So I'm over here typing. If y'all want to call in, you can push 1. We really ain't doing the news tonight. I'm just running off at my mouth. And you guys can call in. And, okay, I was going to read the Presidential Records Act. But okay, well, you know, I'll share this with you because it's important. All right, so this is the Presidential Records Act, right? And well, I ain't gonna read it, but basically, if Donald Trump was writing a memoir, if Donald Trump has taken some pictures that he was gonna write a documentary, if Donald Trump was going to use something that he was going to use as memorabilia, it says the term documentary material all means correspondence, memorandum, documents, papers, pamphlets, work of art, models, pictures, photographs, plaques, maps, films, and motion pictures, including but not limited to audio-visual records or other electronic material, recordations, whether analog or digital in other form. They're talking about documentary materials, things that you're going to use to document your time as the president, right? We can see that the first goddamn paragraph is pretty clear about what they're trying to protect with the Presidential Records Act. The term Presidential Records Act means documentary material. That's number 2. It don't say anything about no goddamn top secret documents. It don't say anything about nuclear fucking documents. It don't say anything about military secrets in this motherfucking Presidential Records Act. The term presidential records means documentary material or reasonably segregatable portions thereof created to receive or created or received by the president, the president's immediate staff, or a unit of individuals of the executive office of the president whose function is to advise the president and, of course, conducting activities which relate to efforts. Okay, so we're talking about the chief of staff, the interns, the blah, blah, blah. If you want to add that to your memoirs, your attorneys, your lawyers, if you want to add that to your memoirs, you can have that shit according to this fucking goddamn act, right? Because we're still talking about documentary materials, including the documentary materials relating to the political activities. If you want to add a banner, I don't know, that does not include documentary. Okay, hold on. It says it does not include documentary materials that are official records of an agency. Right there in the Presidential Records Act. To be tell you that we're getting into this category to where shit you can't take with you as the president using the Presidential Records Act, right? So it goes on to say, as defined in section 552E of the Title V U.S. Code, personal records, stocks and publications, stationery, extra copies of documents produced in convenience and reference for the copies as so identified. So the reason that I wanted to, I could go on down here and it could just shoot goddamn Donald Trump's excuse of using his records under the Presidential Records Act, right? It could just shoot that out of the water because all you gotta do is simply read it. And we only went through paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, and you can see that these top secret documents is not included in the presidential records. It's documentary material, right? Documentary material. That's what the President Records Act means. And nuclear fucking codes or nuclear secrets is not documentary material. I don't give a fuck where you are on the planet. So his excuse of, I can have these up under the Presidential Records Act is some bullshit, is what I'm trying to say. And whenever you hear people like stupid ass Sarge repeat that dumb shit, like he can have it under. No, he can't. No, he cannot. And whenever you're looking at the Espionage Act, and you say he was able to classify those documents. No, he even said in one of these charges on the memo that he had a document that he was talking to somebody that when he was president, he could have declassified that document, but he can't no longer because he's not president. So that's part of the charging document that is against Donald Trump. I mean, basically, I'm saying all this shit because, first of all, I have been inundated with news stories day after day, seeing this shit on TV, hearing it on radio, just all over the place, seeing it on the fucking YouTube, on the internet, Facebook, Trump. Well, that's how I'm able to actually recall a lot of this stuff because of what's being reported, right? And second of all, because he's a fucking liar, and he has been since day one, right? He has been since day one. Oh, nobody ain't push one. If y'all want to push one, you can. I just checked the line. I see there's a couple of people on here, and I'm running off at the mouth. If y'all want to say something, just push one, and I'll open your line and let you get in here because I'm going to talk about this stupid ass son of a bitch and these people blind support for this guy. I don't know how he was able so quickly to develop this cult-like mindset amongst Americans, but somehow or another, somebody in his camp seen that vulnerability in our country. And they seen the weak-minded people that follow politics. And they was able to wake up these people and have them ignite this movement of hate. They did that using politics and they did that using religion, the evangelical right. So already, if you're in a church and your pastor say something, guess what the congregation gonna do? They're gonna follow that damn pastor like the flock, right? That's why they call him the flock. They're gonna follow that congregation. And the evangelical, and the, the cat. I ain't gonna say the Catholics are divided, because the majority of the Catholics do support the right wing, but you got some Catholics that are more liberal than others. But either way, the evangelical and the Catholics all support this goddamn version of reality that the Democrats eat babies and they're demons and all of this kind of bullshit, right? So this is how they got the religious people over there. And don't let me forget about the biggest draw to the evangelicals and the Catholics is the anti-trans stuff, right? We see that all over the place. The anti-trans stuff. Now, I ain't got nothing against transsexual people. I ain't got nothing against LGBT people. And people, when they hear me say that, they say that, you supporting them. I'm not. I'm supporting humans. And I'm supporting everybody's right to be free in this country and express themselves the way they want to express themselves. If it's something that I'm not with, then you won't never see me participate in that, right? You'll never see me at a KKK rally. You'll never see me at a Sonetta TV meeting. You'll never see me at a Boyce Watkins fucking live. You'll never see me paying tithes in a church, because I'm not interested in it, right? But so when it comes to the LGBTQ, I think people should mind their own business. I think people should allow these Americans to live how they want to live, right? But I criticize the LGBT people too, because they are too flamboyant. They are too open with the nudity and the sexual stuff, right? That is just too much. In some cases, not that this ain't all LGBT people, right? But whenever you look at these parades or whatever, that's all you see is booty chicks and dildos, booty cheeks and dildos, and I get that, but that's because of my upbringing and my more traditional way of thinking about sexuality and all that kind of stuff, and that type of stuff should be private, and that's just the way. And people need to respect my opinion when it comes to that. That is not anti LGBT. It's to me, it's about respect and having respect for your your fellow humans. That's the way I look at it. I wouldn't walk around butt naked, and neither should you. That's just the way I see it. So I have respect for that community when it comes to fairness, when it comes to them getting mistreated, when it comes to all of that kind of stuff. So that's the community that the right rallies against when it comes to Christianity, when it comes to the evangelicals, when it comes to the Catholics. Everybody, that's their whipping post. That's the community that they rally around. Look at what happened with the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light can, right? Those people that made Bud Light saying some type of damn apology. To who the fuck are you apologizing to? Extremists? Right? Look at the Target boycott. I don't know if Target made a response to the backlash, but you can look at the response on social media about how Target was selling the rainbow themed items, and people were so upset about that. I found out there was some misinformation out there that the right was passing along about children's clothes. So you have to dig down into it and look at these claims that they're making. But that either way, they made big enough noise to where, I guess somebody was saying on here that Target moved some of the stuff to the back and all this kind of stuff. And that's just bullshit, Let these people live. Let them do what they need to do. And on the other side of the coin, to that community, don't be in your face, Listen, religion hates y'all. And I know that some of these people are religious. but their doctrine, they hate y'all. So you got to accept that somehow or another you're not going to make them a devout religious person accept you. That is not going to happen. So there's no use to fighting with a devout Christian about your homosexuality. That's just not going to happen. You know, you're not going to mend that damn fence. And these devout Christians, you're not going to make somebody ungay. You're not going to pray the gay away. You just got to deal with that human being on both sides walking on this planet on the same earth. You just got to deal with that. You're not going to, you're not going to change someone's behavior because of your ideology. You know, all you're going to do is spread hate. You're going to spread division, and you may even endanger the other side, because we've seen all of these attacks against the LGBT community with the nightclub shootings and the killings and all of that stuff against that community. And that is spawned up by the religious right. When it comes to the LGBT community, somebody gets pissed and they go out there and start shooting up gay people. That's just a fact. As a matter of fact, on social media, recently, there was a drag reading, and there was some neo-Nazis beating on the window at a drag reading. And this is why if y'all can't see the right is related to races, let me see if I can find. Where's it at? It came through my feed. I think Dr. Richie was reporting on it, but I didn't look at was this it? No, that ain't it. I didn't look at the video. I just, it kind of started going, and I had to stop looking at it. But it's kind of scary whenever you think about it. And that's another thing that I don't get. I understand outreach to children, but what is this story time at the library drag reading thing? Somebody need to explain that to me. All right, if you look at the computer, this is a library, and these people holding up the Heil Hitler sign or whatever outside of the library is Nazis, neo-Nazis. And at one point in time during the reading, they started beating on this glass, all of them together, yelling stuff. And if they care about the children, you got to respect. There may be a drag person in there reading to the kids, but you got kids in there getting read to. So how much do you care about the kids? You care. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah. I'm gonna come home. But that okay. Well, I guess this is the poster. So let's see what Miss Juicy Garland. See, I listen. I'm gonna get off this woman's Twitter page, or because I don't know. I can't. I guess I ain't logged in. But I guess this is Juicy Garland, and that was her story hour at the library, and it was interrupted by these Nazis beating on the window. And who agrees with that? And why would it get to this extreme to where you've got people who are neo-Nazis banding together on the same message as Fox News, as the Republican Party, right? You have to check your messaging then, because you're saying the same thing. Your messaging and your hate is the same thing as the most vile, racist people in our society, and you never want to be on that side. I wouldn't. I would if my messaging is the same as extremists, I would have to check what the fuck I'm saying, because obviously I'm not being level-headed at that point, right? I'm not being level-headed if my messaging is the same as an extremist. So these people don't care. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert don't care that they're repeating the same thing that these neo-Nazis say. Fox News, Tucker Carlson, and Harris Faulkner don't care that they're repeating the same thing that these neo-Nazis say. They don't care. So you might as well say that you're in line or aligned with neo-Nazis. This is how you get the perspective that you're fucking racist on the right. Because you don't give a shit about what these people just did to intimidate this library full of children. You don't care as long as your point get across that you hate drag queens, right? And I don't see what this whole fascination with drag queens is. I don't get it. I was telling ABC one time, he was on this shit hard. I was like, dude, there has got to be something else going on. As much as you talk about these people, there has got to be something else going on. Either somebody touched you when you was a child, either you dreamed about being touched, either you're getting touched right now, or you're in the closet, or something in your life that causes your brain to think about rainbows and booty pumping. I don't know why this dude was on this stuff all the damn time. It's kind of crazy. Whenever you hear somebody just like fixated on gayness, right? And you seen the same type of reaction with ABC and COVID. That's all the fuck you talk about. Dr. Fauci, COVID, Dr. Fauci, COVID, Dr. Fauci, COVID. All the time. So whenever he was talking about the LGBT community, it would get so disgusting that it would turn into a bedroom conversation about what this nigga was thinking in his head about what these people do in their bedroom. And you can notice up until this point, my entire conversation about this community had nothing to do with, well, I made the comment about booty cheeks and dildos, but everything else had nothing to do with what they do in the bedroom. Everything was about their right to be equal, their right to just be walk in this society as free human beings. That is their right. When you see that you got a bunch of neo-Nazis that show up where you show up, that is a physical threat, and you are not being protected by your damn country as a community. There is no way that anybody could be all right whenever you show up somewhere, a bunch of neo-Nazis show up. We cannot, as a society, be okay with that. We cannot. But it's accepted on the right. It's accepted on the right because hate, I guess. I don't know why these people accept that it's okay to threaten people. Whenever you look at these people, what you see is a threat, right? What you see is a threat. But because they have white skin, these people are not looked at as a fucking terroristic threat. They're able to get away with it. They're able to walk inside of this building dressed like this in broad daylight. Do you understand that they should have been turned around at the fucking door? You should not be allowed to display this type of hate openly in America. But these people are allowed to do it. They're allowed to have their little rallies. Hell, they have a goddamn KKK rally every time Trump show the fuck up. Right? Let somebody talk about some black liberation. Huh? Let somebody start talking about some black equality. They put a bullet in Martin Luther King's head. The black people kill Jesse Jackson. Hebrew Israelites. Right? Medgar Evers, they killed him. But these people are allowed to freely ban books, be anti-CRT. The police are allowed with their fucking thin blue line gang sign run around and terrorize our community, right? It's crazy how these people are allowed to just get away with all of this damn. You know what? I said thin blue line. I know I'm all over the place, but some things just stick in my head. So I said thin blue line. So let's find out what the hell this thing means. This article is about law enforcement for other uses. The thin blue line. The thin blue line is a term typically refers to the concept of police as a line which keeps society from descending into violence and chaos. The blue in the blue line refers to the blue color of the uniform. Many police departments, the phrase originally started as an allusion to the Brenton infantry, thin red line, during the Crimson War. Okay. All right, so yeah, that terminology is older than what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the thin blue line flag. They don't have no wiki on that shit. Hold on for a minute, cause it's a gang sign, guys. We've heard thin blue line before, the thin blue line flag that they wear on their goddamn uniform. So let me see if this had it in there. Oh, here we go. No, they're trying to give it some validity. Because they're showing every other country that support the police the way they display it. But that's bullshit. That is bullshit. Because the thin blue line didn't show up until after Black Lives Matter. Right? Yeah, right there. It says it right there. Thin blue line flag is all black, wearing this a single horizon line and the blue stripe across the center. Okay, so I see whoever this is, but let me get through this right here. Who is this? Oh, this is Elisa. I'll get to you in a second. Okay, so let me do this right here. The thin blue line flag, bearing the single horizontal blue stripe across the center, variations of the flag often used in various national flags rendered in black and white with the blue line through the center, are seen below. Okay, so Blue Lives Matter movement was created December 2014 after the homicide of Rafael Ramos and Waylon Liu in Brooklyn, New York, in the wake of the homicide of Eric Garner and Michael Brown earlier that year, and in the context of Black Lives Matter movement. So that tells you what I was just alluding to, is this thin blue lines flag didn't come into existence until after the Black Lives Matter movement. The skull and emblem of the Punisher comic character has become popular with the Blue Lives Matter movement, with many companies producing the decal stickers and t-shirts featuring the Punisher emblem colored alongside the blue line. The creator of the Punisher, Gary Conway, has criticized the usage, saying that the police who use that symbol are embracing the outlaw mentality and it's offensive as putting a Confederate flag on the government building. Conway also responded to trying to reclaim the logo by selling T-shirts adorned with the Punisher logo and Black Lives Matter, with the sales going directly to Black Lives Matter related charities. The flag was banned by the LAPD for being displayed in public and public setting and variations representing the professional of other law. Listen, my point with reading all this shit about the thin blue line flag is that it's a denigration of the American flag. It just is. And for somebody who was in the military, it's kind of ignorant to watch police officers run around here and denigrate the American flag and use it as some type of gang symbol so they can embody each other by denigrating the flag that they swore oath to goddamn defend. Because it clearly says in the flag code that you ain't supposed to do that with fucking flags. Period. You're not supposed to do it with flags. The flag is supposed to be handled a certain way. Period. And if you look up the flag code, well, real quick, and then I'll speak to Alicia. Okay, here's the flag code. If you look at the screen, the flag should never be dipped to any person or thing unless it is an ensign responding to a salute from a ship or a foreign nation. That means if you're on the ocean and you see a ship, a foreign nation ship coming, and you flying the American flag, they dip their flag, you dip yours. Period. That's all that means. Sometimes misreported as a tradition that comes from the 1908 Summer Olympics in London, where the countries have asked their flags to dip to their flag to King Edward. American team flag bearer Rose Ralph did not allow the following protocol. The teammates Marion and Sheridan is often thought as April carefully quoted proclaiming this flag dips before no earthly king. So they're telling you that there's a history in the Olympics where other countries are dipping their flag toward the king. The American flag didn't dip for the king. Okay? So now, when the flag is so tattered that it is no longer fit to fly and serve as a symbol of the United States, it should be replaced in a dignified manner, preferably by burning. The veterans of foreign war, the American Legion, the Boy Scouts, and American Girl Scouts of the USA and the USA militaries and other organizations regularly conduct dignified flag retirement ceremonies. If your flag get beaten up, got holes in it and all that kind of stuff, you don't throw it in the trash can, you don't throw it in a dumpster, you take it out back somewhere, you burn it, and you know, you get dispose of it with respect, right? The flag should never be used as a receptacle for receiving or holding or carrying or delivering anything. Whenever you're looking at the 4th of July, you see all those paper plates with flags on it. You see all those cups with flags on it. You see everything with goddamn flags on it. That is a violation of the goddamn flag code. You're not supposed to treat the flag that way. You're not supposed to adorn the flag on items that you're going to use to be disposed. But, you know, they do it. They have been doing it for the 4th of July forever. Okay, so now, where we at? The flag should never touch anything physically beneath it. The flag should never be used as wearing apparel, bedding, or drapery. It should never be fastened or drawn back nor up. It folds in the way. Right here is getting into you should never goddamn fasten the flag or wear it as an apparel. So you talk about bathing suits. You're talking about swimming trunks. You're talking about shit that's got a flag on it. All of these fucking right-wing American patriots, you know, all that shit, they ain't supposed to do that with the goddamn flag. All right, the flag should always be permitted to fall freely. The flag should never be carried horizontally. The flag should never be used for advertising purposes. So the whole 4th of July thing. The flag should never be placed nor attach any part or attach any mark or insignia. Right here, you're getting into the Blue Lives Matter. One more time. The flag should never be placed upon it, right? Nor any part of it, nor attached to any mark, insignia, letter, word, figure, design, picture, drawing of any nature. What they did with the American flag was they painted it black and white and they put that goddamn blue line through it, which clearly violates what the fuck I just read. Period. It ain't supposed to be there. The flag should never be upside down except for in distress or great danger. When displayed vertically against the wall, the union should be to the observer's left. That means whenever you're looking at the flag, the stars should be on the left, in the upper left corner. All right, so that's all I'm gonna read about the flag code, which proves to you that this thin blue lives, it goes completely against the goddamn Constitution. It goes completely against the oath that these police officers took to defend the goddamn Constitution, because they're dishonoring the flag by joining this goddamn gang that says thin blue line, right? And what they're doing is because you got a political movement called Black Lives Matter, and that's a civilian movement, right? What the police there for? They're there to protect and serve everybody, right? They're not there to come up with an opposition movement to a goddamn civilian movement. That ain't what the police is for. But in this country, we're allowing the goddamn police to have some type of opposition movement against a fucking civil rights black movement in this country, and use their guns and badges to discriminate because they got on this thin blue line flag and this brotherhood of fucking racism against Black Lives Matter. We're allowing this country to allow these people to denigrate the goddamn flag, put on this gang fucking patch, and ride around in our fucking tax-paid goddamn dollar cars and just terrify our community. Now I shut up. I don't know how the fuck I got the blue lives matter, but thin blue line, but you know me, I'm all over the place. Miss Elisa, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, sis? Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
There you go. Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
How you doing this evening, Tyrone?
I'm all right. I was all over the place. I don't know what all I said, but I ended up on thin blue line. So.
Yeah, I heard. I was so busy today, I didn't get a chance to put any articles together. Let me ask you, the video that you showed, that was a drag queen book reading thing that the Nazis was out there protesting?
Yeah, that was a drag queen book reading.
At a library. Oh, okay. You know, I don't understand the fascination with I said I could take the time to look it up. What is it with the drag queens and the story? I think it's story time or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
When did that get started? Has that always been a thing? I never took the time to find out what is the draw of that. But the thing is, the people that's scary, those neo-Nazis that they're carrying on like that, because things like that can always turn to something that it has turned. The fact that they're out there banging and acting the fool, but little children in there having story time. I don't understand the draw of the drag queens, but this is the thing. Drag queens all drag queens or female impersonators, whatever you want to call them, that has always been a thing. It's always been a thing. And that's how I've always looked at them, as female impersonators. And when I see, like, our people, who has a problem with that? Y'all don't have a problem watching Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy,
Flip Wilson,
and Flip Wilson. But y'all didn't have a problem watching any of them in drag. In Living Color, you can't beat folks from our community talk about how In Living Color was the best. And all the cross-dressing they did on that show and female impersonating, what's his name, the one that's ill right now, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, he played Wanda,
y'all y'all love it. They love that stuff. But you're getting on the side of these people with all this hate. Drag queens, female impersonators, that's always been a thing. Now, I don't know what the draw is for them and this, fun library reading thing that's going on. I don't have children involved. I don't have any children to have to be involved in that. But people need to sit back and think. We've always had this this world has always had female impersonators. Has always had that. So I mean, but the thing is, the Republican Party got people all they did this. They did this. Fox News and all of their followers, they did this. They found a group that they can tear down and that they can use to get, that they can able to get their point across. Wasn't nobody thinking about no drag queen. You go to Las Vegas, they've always had the drag shows, and because they had I went to one that was in Vegas some years back, all over the place. People used to love to go to the drag shows. The Republican Party did this. Well, there's so much hate and fear from something that's always been. And that's the crazy thing. And then, so my thing is, we'll sit back and let's see who will be the main target next. More than likely, I would have to say it's probably us, because we've never not been the target. But I just don't get people, let them whip them up in a frenzy over female impersonators. I just don't understand it, but that's always been a thing. And the average person used to sit back and laugh their behind off. And we still have a lot of female impersonators in our community that does that. And in everybody's community. And then everybody has lost they're losing their lunch over that stuff. How come you wasn't protesting and talking about they trying to get to the kids when you was watching Wanda on In Living Color? Nobody was having a connection fit. You were watching Big Mama's House. And what is it, Orbit or whatever that stupid movie Eddie Murphy did. Nobody had a problem with any of that. So the Republican Party did this. Mm-hmm. They point you in a direction. They point people in a direction, and they fall for it, and they make it out like that's the worst thing ever. And it didn't used to be 6 years ago. It wasn't this 6 years ago. Y'all wasn't thinking about female impersonators and drag queens. You weren't thinking about them people 6 years ago.
Yep. See, and I would like to have a civil conversation with that community about what we're talking about here. Why is it so important y'all go to libraries and read? I don't know. I don't know the origins of it, because they always...
I don't either.
The other side always jump to this extreme stuff where the neo-Nazis are interrupting them and they're saying that they're trying to groom the kids and all of this kind of stuff. So I don't know, because kid grooming, I get why you're saying it, because it's shocking and it gets people to think, but that's the extremist view. You don't think that no grown man, whether they're in drag or not, is going to go in there and try to groom a kid in public. I don't know if I give drag queens credit for that. They're not in there trying to groom no kids. And if you're worried about kid grooming, I mean, look at all the fucking pedophiles we got that are straight people. They never address that.
They don't. And all the people that some people know in their family that used to mess with little kids and never said or did anything about it. So, I mean, these people are entertainers, but I am going to take the time to find out what that story time is about. The drag queens and story time. When did that become popular? But I'm going to have to be honest. People are so crazy nowadays. If I had little children, I wouldn't even take mine I wouldn't take my children to that, because somebody liable to throw a bomb or something up in there. It's so crazy now, and it's getting worse. And looking at this picture that you have up on the screen, these grown men, and they got their faces covered up. Mm-hmm. Can I leave that out? All of them faces is covered up. If you feel so strongly in a thing, why are you covering up your face?
Right.
You're supposed to be barefaced and stand in it. But they covered up their faces, because I think, this is my opinion, they know what they're doing out there with their neo-Nazi and their chanting and their foolishness. They know that's not the right thing to do. That's why they hide who they are. Because if you know you were righteous with a thing, you wouldn't cover your face. You just wouldn't. Because if it's a police killing, and when people go out to protest about that, they don't cover their faces. They don't. But when they out there with this type of stuff right here, their faces, all anything you got to cover your identity, you kind of know deep down you probably shouldn't be taking part in this, but you're gonna do it anyway. And the people who go along with this, y'all, they should see that first and foremost. They're hiding themselves. Why are you hiding? Why are you hiding it? So, but I wouldn't take my children to it, whatever it is, because these people are getting crazy out here. I
Yeah.
don't know what the draw, how this all got started with the story time. I'm gonna see if I can go into it and find out when did this start, when did this become a thing, and why is it a thing? Now I saw some photos. They was having a story time at some library, and the people had their children, and I think they were playing some music. You couldn't see the video, and one of the impersonators, one of the entertainers, the way he was dancing and rolling around, and he had on G-string and all of his
See, now
behind,
that
and
that, that ain't right there.
all his junk. That's too much. That's
Yeah.
too much. And I think that is extremely inappropriate for little children to be sitting there looking at that. That's why, as a parent, because if it was a grown woman grinding and she had on a G-string and she reading stories and turning and flipping and showing all of her underneath, that's extremely important for her. I'm sorry, extremely inappropriate for her to do, and it's extremely inappropriate for the drag queens to do that. That's inappropriate. So I could see somebody, and see, this is the thing. If they want to be able to do that and they want a lot of this stuff to calm down, then they need to take it down. Don't do like that. Take that mess down a notch, because you're only making it worse for whatever this story time thing is. I
Yeah.
can't speak on it because I don't know what it is.
Well, yeah,
But
I've
take that
only
stuff
seen
down a
pictures
notch.
of it. I've never seen the story time thing. I never seen it, but I heard about the one that you talking about with the inappropriate reader or whoever
Yeah,
that
you
was.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That was too
they, they,
much.
they, they, they I wish there was a dialogue so these people can get out here and explain what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. Because I don't know. I do not know.
I
Unknown
don't
caller,
either.
who's on the line?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What's up, Jay? What you
Hey,
got, man?
Jay.
All right. Yeah. I'm just gonna, in and out with this situation. So, I seen a clip, and only calling for this particular reason. I seen a clip where they had the attorney general. She was introducing a drag queen that was gonna read to children in a library, a public library. Now, I found that a little odd, but this is what I found out technically. That was not set up by the school, right? What they did, and the parents were there. There was parents there with babies, parents there with children of all ages, and then I seen that they interviewed. It was like a short clip on New York One. You could probably find it online on the YouTube where New York One covers Attorney General introducing drag, reading to the children or whatever. I mean, again, I find it odd in the sense of, if it's children that have identified themselves as being different, or again, without being introduced into a different lifestyle or preference, where they naturally start saying things, again, not being introduced to this, but telling their parents and showing them, then I could understand them trying to bring them in that type of atmosphere. But still, as a young kid, it's still weird to me. But every parent they got their own control, right? I can tell them what to do. But there was one parent that was there. It was a white lady, and she had a baby in her, and she was holding her baby, and then she had a little one that was probably like maybe 4 or 5 years old. And she was saying, I guess, justifying, I want them to be inclusive and all that. I mean, to each his own, but I just wanted to say and be clear that when they did that and there was a lot of controversy, you could look at it however you want. But the point was that they had made it seem like it was the school that brought them to the library, when it was the actual parents that were involved in this, and it was a public event. And I still find it odd because the attorney general applauding that is like, yeah, it's education, but do we have to have all this extra shit? Why don't we just get them to read in general. Like that's the main thing. And then if you want to go into all that, there's levels to everything. But I found that odd. But they try to make it seem like the schools push the kids to come into this library for this reading a drag. So let's get it clear. I still find it odd. Again, that's my opinion. No disrespect to anybody, but this is the thing, right? They try to hype it up more than what it was. They try to make it seem like the school was involved. I know that there's certain things. Parents, just get more involved in what's going on. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you're on top of what's going on. That's the best thing you could do, because they can't override all of y'all if y'all come in unity to say, no, we're not going to have this. So it's not the Board of Education. The Board of Education has a power, but then parents have to unite, get involved. If you got to be in part of those programs or the Parents Association, and get involved in the board. If you really care about this matter, then get involved with it. That's what I'm saying. So you could, there's a chance, there's a little space where you can get involved in, or not take your child out to school. I'll leave it there, and then I'll be listening in.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point, man. Look, when those libraries have events and schedules and stuff like that, parents are aware of what events and schedule is going to go on at that library that day. And even if it's like if it's a school trip or whatever, notices get sent home to the damn parents saying your kid's going to be in the library on this day and this is what's going to be happening. Now, parents have an option of not sending their child or not taking their child. And like Jay said, whenever you see these events, most likely the parents are there. They're with the children, so it ain't like they sneaking in. The parents that are there are probably supporting whatever is going on there. I just want to know why they do it. I don't know why they do it.
What is it? But you know what, Tyrone? Jay made a great point. These, from what I have seen, when the people cutting up, it's not a school thing. It's the public library has something to do with school. Mm-hmm. So those things are usually held at the public library, and that's usually like a county are hosting these types of things. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have anything to do with the school, because I think a lot of the parents would flip out if this was a school, and it's not a school thing. This is like a county type thing, things that they have set up for the children at the public library. And the parents, if they're having drag queen story time, all of those things have a bulletin of what's going to be going on throughout the month.
Right.
And parents choose to take their children to it. But it's not, I don't think there's a school in the United States would have drag queen story time. I just don't think so. These are public libraries. It's a county thing, and the county is paying for that. Different things for the children. You can bring your children to it, and you don't have to bring it. That's what I think it is. And in a case like that, people shouldn't be carrying on, because it's not a school thing. No one's forcing anybody to bring anybody anywhere. It's a public library. If you don't want your children to have anything to do with it, don't take them. It really is that simple. And like the gay pride clothing for Pride Month, mm-hmm. If you don't want your children to have the rainbow and the unicorn shirts and the things that support the gay pride, don't buy it. It really is that simple. Don't go to the gay pride festivities that they have set up around during Gay Pride Month. Don't go. Don't take your children. It really is that simple. It really is that simple. And for those who want to take their children, they can do that. Those are their children. But you don't have to take yours. Your child doesn't have to wear unicorn T-shirt or a rainbow T-shirt. They don't have to. Don't buy it. It really is that simple. Don't buy it. Don't go.
Yep. And then everything begins at home. I don't know why these people are so worried. They act like they ain't in touch with their children. If you notice your child is, I don't know, you're supposed to train your children. And I hope that people, if their child is gay, I hope they ain't rejecting them like that. You're gonna
I
love your
hope
child
not.
regardless, because they exist. It ain't like gay people don't exist. They exist, period.
They've always existed.
Yeah.
They've always existed. So I mean, I don't know, but it's the Republican Party. It's mainly them with this hardcore thing, and people have bought into it. And really, it's a simple answer. Don't involve yourself. Don't involve your children. Don't buy the merchandise. It really is that simple. And I don't know about children's programming and what they have on television, like on the children's network and things like that. I don't know what shows come on the network. So I can't speak on that. But if you find out there's something that you don't want your children to watch on the network, don't allow them to watch it. It really, if people can say it's not that simple. Yes, it is. Now, if you and your children are at the park and the children see something, well, it's not too much you could do about that. Like when I told you, we all have went to a festival when I was little, and I saw two men kissing, and I was very confused by it. And my mom tried to explain it the best. But in a situation, there's not too much you can do about that. But you do your best to explain it to the children so that they will understand. But don't go to gay pride things. Just don't go. Don't let your children watch. If you find out there's a cartoon on the children's network and they have LGBTQ plus people like characters, what is that noise?
Jay, we hear you pouring water or something.
Sorry.
Yeah, you good.
Oh, okay. Oh, and because like I said, I don't know children's programming, but I think a lot more children's programming. They have they're very inclusive with different LGBTQ plus IA characters. If you don't want your children to watch it, don't. I think you probably should, but that's because these people they've always been here and they're here to stay. So, but if you don't want your children to have anything to do with it, to know anything about it, you want to be the one to teach them about it, then that's how you handle that. It really is that simple. It
Yeah.
really is. I just,
They
glad I
uh
don't
they
have to
they,
deal
they,
with
they turn they
children.
turn it into a movement of hate, and you're not going to change the way
Mhm.
someone is. For instance, like I'm anti-corrupt police, and I think that with enough societal awareness that the police mentality can change, and we can move
Mhm.
that and try to change the mindset of police. But you're not going to change the way someone is born. The police is an organization that can be defunded or funded or
Mhm.
trained or something like that, but you're not going to change the way somebody's born. So all of this hate towards these people, trying to get them to conduct themselves differently, it's not even going to work.
No, it's a losing battle, but you out here putting out a lot of hate, and that's a losing battle. The community, they've always existed, and they always will. It really it's that they always will exist. So you're putting yourself through a whole hell of a lot of bunch of extra stress over that. And then when you hear people talking about they don't want like their daughters going in the bathroom and because the bathroom and I mean, dude, if people don't think, you realize that the trans community is a very small community. The average person has probably never even seen a trans person in their entire life and probably never will. But me not being a parent, I don't talk for other parents. People feel however you gonna feel. But you bring on a lot of stress on yourself. You really are. A lot of stress on yourself. It's not my community, so I can't speak for them. I can't speak for people who have children. But I just think people are putting extra stress on themselves over things that you really have no control over. You have control over how you raise your children. You have control over what you tell them and what you teach them and what you introduce to them on your own. That's the only thing you got control over. You don't have control over other people's lives. And you can save yourself a lot of stress if you learn that. Because it took me a long time to get to where I am right now. I was not like this 10 years ago. I wasn't really phobic, but I had my biases. And it took me, and I'm proud of where I am right now to get to where and so if no, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say, so if I can get here, no, because I didn't have hate or anything. I've always had different people, different friends, people part of the LGBT community. But I had some biases, as the average person does. As the average person does. But I worked not to have those biases. Let them people live. Let them live. And you live your life. And I think everybody will get along, so everybody will get on so much better. You will get on so much better. I'm just glad I don't have children I have to deal with and somebody acting a fool. Because look, and it's not just a drag. When you push that stuff, you look how easy it is to push stuff up into people's head, as the Republican Party did. When it came to wearing masks, people would stand up out on the sidewalk screaming at little children because they had a mask on. Same thing. Because they told you it was wrong. They told you it was killing the children because they had on a mask. It's the same thing, Tyrone. It's not just that. If they tell them all children who has on black tennis shoes, they make up something. It's the same thing.
Yep.
It's the same thing. They act the fool with the mask. Because I think it was back in the 90s. No. I was a kid when this went on. I think it was back in the 80s. You remember when, because they were saying like during the 80s, it kind of ran out once the 90s came in, where people was big, real big, when people worshiping Satan. That was real big that was going on. And it was a nursery, not a nursery school, but some kind of school. And something had went on at the school. So somebody took their child to the doctor or whatever, and they was saying that the child had suppressed memory, and they had to see if they could get those memories out the child, and then it turned into wasn't the they put memories there. Then the next thing you know, all of the children, they was like, oh my God, they was Satan worshiping. It was child molestation, and it had gotten so out of control. They shut the whole school down, and they locked all those people up. The people who owned the school, the people who worked there, and it had gotten to the ridiculous, because I saw a documentary about this, and the children were saying that it got to this saying that they were taking crucifixes and putting them inside their body and worshiping the devil, and all of that was going on. It was real big, because I know all of the shows did some of the 2020 Dateline. It was huge. I can look up and find the name of that school. And a lot of people went to prison until somebody said, just stop. Everybody stop. And then they got some more people to come in and see what was going on after a lot of people went to prison. Mm-hmm. And come to find out none of that stuff had went on. Hysteria had broken out. And whatever it was that went on, it was they had implanted, because they were talking about all of them. And it went from, I think somebody probably got snatched up and made to go into the coat room, because they were the coat closet. And you stand there till it's time for you to go home. And that whole thing turned into devil worshiping. I'll look it up. There's a whole documentary about that. Because I was a kid when that was going on. And it was on like the shows like 60 Minutes and stuff like that. And it had gotten out of control. And this is where we're headed with this kind of stuff right here. This is right where we're headed.
Yeah, I mean it's scary about how they could just they don't care, because I mean their rhetoric is actually killing people. With the nightclub shootings and these people showing up at the libraries like this right here, and people are still actually getting beat up for being gay and all that kind of stuff. But it's scary that society don't want to tamp some of this down. But you expect that type of behavior in America. So I don't even know if they know it's wrong what they're doing. I think that they think it's justified. ABC was in the chat room saying that you should have some type of decency laws, right? And whenever you say decency laws, would that apply to everybody? Would you say that a beauty pageant is not decent because they have a swimsuit contest? Would you say these brothels that people visit are not decent? Would it just apply to gay people? So you're not going to make laws, period, to outlaw what gay people do because other people in society already do it. I mean, shit, porn is one of the biggest industries in the world. So you're not going to outlaw it. Just like you said, don't get involved with it. Why would you
Don't
don't
get
get
them.
involved with it? Yeah.
Yeah, that whole era, they called it the yeah, it was starting in the United States in the 1980s, spreading throughout many parts of the world by the 1990s, and some of it still persist today. And they called that era during that time the Satanic Panic, and that was real. And the McMartin preschool trial, that's what it was, the McMartin preschool trial, where all of that was going on. I remember I was a kid, and I was so into that, trying to find out what it was. My parents was trying to explain it. And I really didn't understand what all that was going on, but I was keeping up with it. And thank God somebody said, let's stop. So that's when the satanic panic was going on big time. And everything was put on that they're grooming children for Satan and all of that. It's documentaries all about that time period from the 80s up until like the early 90s that went on. And the McMartin School, that's what it was. They had them people locked up for life. But until somebody said, well, hold on, wait a minute. These children went from the teacher grabbed and shook me to they are inserting crucifixes in my body. And then some of the children was like, oh my God. And they had me tied up and they was all dressed like witches, and it got crazy. And I watched that documentary I think about a month ago, and I was like, I remember when this was going on in Martin School, and everybody lost their mind. And like it's a history repeats itself. That's right where we are right now. We're right back here. It's just not. Well, some people saying it's Satanism too, and they got throwing that up in there too. But that's right where we are right now. That's right where we're headed, and we have moved out of that time period of the satanic panic, like right around when the mid '90s hit, and we're headed right back into this foolishness. And you got people acting the fool because we saw how they were carrying on over the mask. We see how they carrying on about, although I don't understand what the drag queen story time is about, but they losing their lunch over that, and they out here banging on the libraries and neo-Nazis and stuff. We're right back here. We're right back there again. And it doesn't take much to drive people who are already slightly cuckoo. It doesn't take much to move their needle to get them to doing crazy things. I think it's scary.
No,
It
it
is.
don't.
It
It don't.
really
And,
is.
and it's not. And I was just thinking that it was like the redneck hillbilly and all this kind of stuff. Some of these people got law degrees. Some of these people are very well
Yeah,
educated, but they just ignorant and hateful when it comes to this type of stuff. So anybody is vulnerable and susceptible to carrying out hate when it comes
yeah,
to the messaging that is coming out of the right. And if they really cared about
yeah,
kids, they would be calling Donald Trump out because Donald Trump
yeah,
spent plenty of time with Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm not saying he's the only one because we know Bill Clinton name was on that plane. But if the right really cared about the kids, Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, he had a child sex ring down there, whatever the hell he had, and Donald Trump was a big major part of it. And here's some pictures with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Let me see if I can, yeah, chumming it
and
up.
they and Trump and them used to have those little beauty contest things on this
Yeah,
boat. I saw the pictures from that, and they said some of them girls was 12 and 13 years old, but you don't care about the kids, but you want him back.
but they only accusing gay people of child grooming, which is crazy.
Hmm.
That's a problem throughout society, whether you straight or gay, where some people are just fascinated with doing that with children. I don't. You don't have to be gay to have that sickness in your head. There's a lot of people
No,
that are sick. Hmm.
if you are a pedophile and you are grooming children, it doesn't matter. That doesn't. It's not one sexuality
Yeah.
where people are like that. It's across the whole spectrum. If somebody's going to do that, that's who they are. They were born that way too. That's the scary part. They were born that way too. That's what the experts say. They were born that way. So that can be anybody. But if you care about the kids, but look who you want to come back. And he was hooked up in a lot of that stuff too. And it's just Bill Clinton too, and probably some other people we don't know, a bunch of other people that we don't know about. But I think people just use that as an excuse. Got to protect the kids. Got to protect the kids. Half the people saying that don't give 2 cents about the kids.
They
They
don't.
really
Like I
don't.
said, those neo Nazis didn't give a crap about those kids sitting in that library, so they don't care about the kids. Really,
Scared
that's just an
probably.
excuse.
It is an excuse. And those children probably was frightened to death. But they
Yeah.
don't tell me we're doing this for the kids. Yeah, right. You're not doing nothing for the kids. I don't have kids, and I'm not the biggest kid friendly person. But I care more about protecting them than the average one that's out here yelling, "Got to protect the kids, got to protect the kids." Well, then raise them right. That's the best thing you could do for kids. Raise them right. Spend time with them. Talk to them. Be good to them. That's the best thing you can do for kids. But out there banging on that thing like that, and get out here and everybody protest to make the government to provide health care for the kids. Get out here and make the government to do better on the educational thing. Get out here and have the government to help parents with child care and different things like that. If you care about the kids, get out here and demand that all the school lunches is free in every school. Get out here and demand that breakfast is free for every school. If you care so much about the kids, but they don't.
No, they don't. They just found a way to attack that group of people, just like they found a way to attack the black community through CRT and woke or whatever they be saying. They just found an excuse to attack people.
Yeah, just attack. But Tyrone, let me ask you. Let me see what time. Oh, man, so it's already 11 o'clock. So, what's your take on all this submarine thing? It's this not sub. What do you? How do you? Let me get the correct pronunciation because it's not a submarine. Hold on. Submersible.
Oh
What's
yeah,
your take
I
on all
just
of
seen
that?
the news today where they found it. Those people have
Yeah,
got killed down there. That's sad. Um,
it is.
that they're explorers, and I guess as scientists or archaeologists or whatever they were, they was trying to explore the Titanic. I don't know what their reason was, but I think there was a mechanical malfunction in that submersible thing because it imploded. So something
Did
mechanically went
imploded.
wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't think
and
there are
it
going to be
imploded.
any bodies from that how far down they was because if it
I don't think so
implodes,
either.
I mean,
That's it.
yeah,
Them people was blown to smithereens. So there's not going to be anything to find from them. But I don't know. I'm glad. I'm happy that we're gonna have a somewhat of a conclusion and that they found these people because I've been following it because that had bothered me when I heard it because I've always been very interested in like anything with to do with the Titanic and watch the documentaries and I like to watch the videos with the artifacts and things they brought up off the ocean floor. I've always been very intrigued by that. The Titanic. I wouldn't have gotten that thing to go down there, but if it was a government sub or some Navy, uh, what do you call it? What's those kind of subs they got? Not atomic. Um, what's those
like
subs
a
that they
sub,
got?
like a military submarine.
Yeah, what do you call them? It's not atomic subs.
Nuclear.
What's it? A nuclear? Yeah, nuclear subs. Now I might would take a ride down in there in one of them to see the Titanic for myself, but
Mm-hmm.
those people that got killed, they was just tourists. I think the man who owned it, the owned the company,
Mm-hmm.
and another man, he was an explorer who he died, and the other three were tourists. I don't understand after hearing more about that submersible. Y'all didn't check into that company? Everything that people were saying that thing was basically piecemeal, and he didn't follow any of the regulations. That thing was not regulated, and all of them were rich. And you would think you're rich, you're living a comfortable life. That at least you want to preserve your life
Yeah.
and check. And all I have to hear is, well, this thing isn't regulated. They're not following. They're doing that because the owner of the company was saying he didn't want to have to go by that because it's stifling creativity, it's stifling exploration. So that thing was not regulated by the United States government regulations on the things, Canada, none of that. That's how he was able to skirt around an American company and launching out of Canada into international waters. So he was able to skirt around the regulations on that thing. And a lot of people were saying they expected something like this was going to happen. And I don't know. It was just sad thinking that they probably was in that tube on the
Yep.
bottom of the ocean floor. But then come to find out, they're saying now that the Navy, that right around the time that thing lost connection with the mothership above water,
Mm-hmm.
with those sonar things that the Navy have around, it had picked up an implosion or an explosion from the noise that it picked up. But because they weren't looking for anybody during that time, no one was reported missing.
Really?
Because when they went back and
Oh
because they
wow.
went back and they checked their records. And right around the time when that thing first lost connection, they lost communication, they sonar picked up some type of implosion in the ocean in that area. But because, again, nobody had it just happened. And then when they got the call, found out that that little thing was missing and this and that, they said, the Navy didn't publicize it. So they said, well, they still could be missing and this and that. So they have now and put two and two together. That thing imploded right after they lost communication. Them people had been dead the whole time.
That
But
is
they were looking
crazy.
for them.
That's
Isn't
sad.
it?
Mm-hmm.
It is sad. It is sad. But they knew the risk. The only person who I feel real sorry for is the 19-year-old, because his aunt and another family member came out and said that he didn't want to get on that thing. He was scared to get on it. He didn't really want to do it. He didn't think it was safe. But because it was Father's Day weekend, and it was his father really wanted to do that. And I think they were Pakistani or something like that. You know how they all about family honor, and if the
Yeah.
father wants you to do something, you go along. You don't say no. Their culture. But he had told his aunt different other things like that he was scared to do that. But he did it because it was Father's Day weekend. Now I really feel bad for this 19-year-old. The rest of them was grown
If
and
your
rested.
child has
They were
diabetes,
rich. They
Mm-hmm.
should have known that company was what it was. There was no regulations. They would piecemeal that damn thing together, and they were taking risks. But I feel bad for the 19-year-old. But the good thing is they wasn't down on that ocean floor for days. They were dead right after they lost communication back on Sunday. So that should make the family feel better that they didn't suffer in that damn thing.
I wonder if they're gonna ever find out what happened, like what failed to cause it to implode.
Mm. I don't know. The
They're
fellow
saying
said
it could
if
have
they
been the
can find it.
ceramic.
Ceramic.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. It's all speculation, but they're saying possibly the material that it was made from is what could have caused it, like a small hole. And once that hole, that's it. Once it'll open. It's the pressure. Yeah, this is not a pressure from you being in a like 10 feet below and the water start coming in little by no.
No, once that thing went, it went. I mean,
that's it. And they're saying that even if it was like an oxygen thing, or if something blew up, because it could have been they said an implosion, right? So if something went on fire, they saying that all the oxygen, that right there, a couple of seconds, they gone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because all they need is one little opening, because they say it could even be a hairline crack.
Right.
In that casing.
Right.
That little bit, all that pressure would implode and crush that thing.
I was watching the news conference, and the guy kept saying this was a catastrophic implosion. And then the people kept asking about the crew. They kept saying it was a catastrophic implosion. And I was like, they don't get it. That there's nothing left. There's nothing left of them people.
They even probably in pieces. They probably in little pieces because of the pressure. And
micro pieces. There's nothing. There's nothing to get. And are you going to do? Because one of the reporters was asking, "Are you all still going to try to recover?
Recover. Yeah, it's like nothing, we don't know. There's nothing to recover.
There is no body to recover.
It's metal pieces.
Like they can recover metal pieces from the ship.
Right.
They can try to get as much of that, piece it back together, and maybe get an idea. But as far as the human lives, that's done.
Yeah, they fish food. I didn't mean to say that, but I mean that's basically it. They fish food. Hey, Mama's boy, what's up? You there, Mama's boy? I know you pushed one.
But it's sad.
He must be on mute. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
It really is sad. But that's rich people and their money. But I don't blame them for wanting to do. When you're so rich, not rich, when you're so wealthy like that, they want to do different things that the average person can't do. And I saw a lot of black people were making, everybody was making jokes. But like the black people I know, they were making jokes and posting memes. And I bet you there was not one black person up on there. We know better. And I would always comment. Yeah, I'm glad there were no black people on there. But I wish more of our people had that type of disposable income that if they wanted to do something like that, they could. That's the only thing. I wish more of our people, because that's some serious disposable income. $250,000. I wish more of us had, don't do that, but I wish more of us had more disposable income, that if we choose to do something like that, we can do it with these.
Yeah, I wonder what they was going down to the Titanic for. Was it just exploration, or was they trying
sightseeing?
That was it?
Sightseeing.
Wow.
The vehicle itself was made for more. One of the guys was saying that worked with the guy. He said he made it for beyond. It was just at the time he was doing the Titanic stuff, and obviously he getting paid for it. So they were at the moment in this, I guess, months. That's where he was diving. He literally diving into the business of bringing millionaires down to the Titanic. There's a few other people doing that. He jumped in the thing, but they said that his vehicle when he created it, it was beyond that. It was about exploration of the ground. So for multiple purposes, learning about the seafloor and things like that. So it was deeper than just the Titanic, but for this specific.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Mama's boy.
Yeah, we hear
Peace,
you.
everybody.
What's that? But if that was just for exploration and that was that guy's business, I mean, they should be out of business. I mean, that should be it
Well, there was a lot of rules
I
that
think
was broken. He said there was a lot of regulations they were supposed to go through.
Right.
That even what real quick, that what's his name? The guy that made the movie, or what the guy that did Star Wars or whatever. You know that he be traveling. He made a vehicle, and he was talking about a prior person that invented it, or somebody that did a machine like that, and he was telling them you got to take very safety precautions. Because the shit is so, anything can happen that like it's just very fragile situation. So even when you build it with a enormous material and something like a spaceship, even we've seen the spaceships from Earth go to outer space, and sometimes they exploded on the way, sometimes they blew up on the way coming in, all type of malfunction, and they put a lot of investment and time. So what he was saying, that when you're dealing with that, which is the Earth has been, or the floor bed has been less explored than space. We don't even know much about the bottom of the floor, that you have to take precautions because the atmosphere is very brutal. It's very brutal. It's not made for us or materials. You gotta build shit. Even submarines you gotta build them shit sufficient enough. And I don't think that you gotta be extra. The deeper you go, the more pressure it is.
Yeah. Hold on for a minute, Mama's boy. But I get I think I'm getting a better picture now, because you know how when airplanes land, that whole crew go over that whole airplane before it takes off again. Like every nut and bolt on that dang on airplane. They go over it, and it flies. It flies so many times, and then they do it again, right? But I don't think that this submarine was going through that type of inspections and stuff.
Right.
And that's probably why it failed.
it wasn't.
Go ahead, Mama's boy.
It wasn't going through.
No, that's y'all hitting on it. I mean, I was listening to them talk about it, and they were saying that they had one of the guys that went down with that Stockton Rush guy. And it's the problem that they have with these billionaires that want to do shit on their own. And the fact that he did it in international waters meant that he didn't have to have no safety regulations. Right.
Exactly.
So it's a problem that they kind of have in the industry. And what he was saying is that this particular submarine was a great idea because it's made out of carbon fiber. It's lighter. You can hold more people. But it hadn't been tested on how many times it could go down before they had to get another one. Well, I guess it has been tested, or is that too soon?
It's been tested now. It has. And Jay, you were talking about James Cameron. He did the Titanic.
Right, exactly.
Avatar. Because he had one of those built by regulation. And
right.
Just like Mama's boy said, it's the American company, the guy who owns the company owned the submersible, an American company, but they kept the submersible and they launched it from Canada out into international waters.
International waters, yeah.
So they were able to dodge and skip all types
regulations.
of regulations.
Yeah, this capitalism be kicking people ass, don't it?
Yeah, it do, Tyrone.
So the United States, they like, well, Canada must be doing Canada's regulations. Canada knows it's an American company, so it should be Americans' regulations. But then once it gets out in those international waters, that's how he had it all fixed up. And that's why he was able to bypass every bit of regulation. They wasn't checking that, inspecting that thing like they should have been. And that's why this happened. It's really, really sad. But I think he was doing them tours to get money out.
Right.
That's why he was doing the tours to get the money out.
Right.
Well, I noticed a couple of things, but I'm gonna just take this one that it just rang out to me when I was watching this shit. They had a couple of dudes that went down with him on explorations in that sub come on the news.
Yeah.
And both of these guys said the same thing. They was like, he asked me to go down with him, and I was like, nah. I was like, you know what I'm saying? And it's because, like I think, like that one guy said, it had that carbon fiber hadn't been tested on how many times it could go down before you have to, make another one. You know, it was, you know, so
Right.
you could tell when they went down, they heard something like one dude said they had to abort the first time they went down, and then they finally got down. But it's something, he said it's something to do with, you know, these guys putting these things together, you know, without, you know, being tested, anything tested, and no
And Russian
regulation.
shit.
Yeah, you know. He said, you know, he asked me to go with him. I was like, no. I'm like, well, that should, you know, I feel sorry. Well, I don't know. That Pakistan, what that's supposed to be the richest dude, richest
Right,
Pakistan, him
millionaire
and
or
his
one of the.
son. You think maybe he
So
was the one might have pushed them to go down there? I'm just
who
saying
knows?
somebody had
I
to
don't know.
pay
I mean,
for it.
I think it was like Elisa was saying. Those people were so rich. If it was just for touring purposes only, they didn't want to miss this opportunity to get down there and see the Titanic
They
because
didn't
they
want to
had the
miss that
money.
money, Tyrone.
Yeah,
They didn't
because
want
they
to miss
had
that money.
because they had the money to do it. And
That's
Uh-huh.
crazy. They
this
part of
this
the
this this fault
Titanic
lies
now.
solely on that submarine builder. Um,
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yep.
but the number of
Yeah,
trips he probably did over the years, he probably had enough money to build another one, you know, to be safe.
he
But
didn't do.
he would probably
He
use
Well,
that
hasn't
one
this
done
for
is
that
everything.
many
we
trips.
talk about cutting corners all the time, right? And this happens with buildings that are default, you know, that end up falling down,
Yeah,
and all type of vehicles, machinery, and this is a machine that, again, yes, it was great technology, but he wanted to rush it for whatever reason, whether it was to race against the time and say, well, we got this accomplished before anybody else, you know, I don't know, but. And again, sometimes, man, you have to go over it, check regulations. You know, I know sometimes regulations be overwhelming and sometimes like exaggerated, but for things like this, I mean, you think about it, right? This is a billionaire. I would have made sure everything was. They had to have a rescue shit just in case on the side. Like, how y'all not gonna do that? You're dealing with a billionaire in this facility, this tube. Y'all don't have a backup plan. Like, it takes how many days to rescue? Even if they would have got there when they said they got there today, and they would have had what? How many hours of oxygen? An hour? It takes 2 hours to bring them up. Like, it goes to show you, you know what? With all the money in the world, you still can't be safe, unfortunately, and it also shows that we, as human beings, have not mastered everything that we think we have mastered. We gotta go back to the drawing board and have. Now, I'm not saying about the vehicle failure. I'm talking about rescue plans. Us having more vehicles that can deal with the death where they were at. We haven't mastered Earth. So all these people that think that they're super geniuses, we got to go back to the drawing board. I'm just saying.
but you know the Russians, they have been going down there for a while, and there's other companies that's gone too. Their submersibles are made by they're regulated. And one of the guys who had gone a couple of times, he went with the because James Cameron went with the Russian crew as well, and they said they always sent down two together, and they had better communication things set up with the mothership above water. And if one got in trouble, there was another submersible down there with them. They had better regulation, they had better communication things set up, and theirs was built by regulation. So that's why he said it was safer. But this guy, they just went down there, and how they communicated was through text messages. Come
Right.
on.
Oh, yeah. So they basically set up, and again, saying just what I was saying, money wise, all the money in the world, it could have probably been even some simple things that they would have checked over or invested more, so they would have made sure there was safety. Because, like you said, it's possible to do it, but you have to put in the time and the
Well,
money.
You can put it in
You know what I
time.
mean?
well, look,
Check all the boxes.
I'm looking at this wiki page on this ship, right? And it says safety concerns, and it's pretty much saying what everybody is saying
There
on
you
the
go.
phone right now. It said
Yeah.
because the Titan operated in international water, it was not subject to safety regulations. The vessel,
Regulation.
the vessel was not certified as seaworthy by any regulatory
Right.
agency or third-party organization. The reporter David, who completed the expedition in 2022, as part of CBS News Sunday Morning feature, stated that all passengers who entered the Titan signed a waiver confirming their knowledge that it is an experimental vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. The TV producer Mike Reese, who has also completed the expedition, noted that the waiver mentions death 3 times on one page.
Right.
So these people, like you said, they went up to international waters where they knew they could get away with putting this ship down there and hopefully get paid if it rolls back to the top. And then had these people sign these waivers saying that they know what they were going to die. That is crazy.
Right. There was a guy that was on the Discovery Channel. He does all these exploration shows, right? And he was being interviewed. He said, yeah, we were supposed to do an episode in there, but he said the way things were set up, you know, he was calculating the amount of space there was. If he needed to have 2 film crew, you know, he said it was too small. And then he was reading exactly what you say. He said, yeah, and I noticed that, you know, basically that, you know, death was there 3 times and that things wasn't regulated. So they made a decision with the production not to film that episode. And so they went to the thing, but they decided, it was like, oh, I'm not going to go down there because of all all the bad things. They checked. They said, wait a minute, it's more negative than positive. So it said, rather we don't shoot it, you know, and that's what happened.
Hey, I got the I don't know. My instinct was telling me they were saying that, especially the guys that didn't want to go, they were kind of, I don't know, implying that the guy was a bit nutty. He was a bit eccentric, and he should have known to do something about, you know, that sub, but he didn't. You know, he you know what I mean. So they was like, that's probably why they didn't go back down there with him, because they felt like he was a bit nutty because he wouldn't. It was a great idea, but he didn't upgrade. He how many times his sub been down? 10 times? Man, don't you think, man, a normal sub can't go down that many times. You know, a normal submersible, you gonna have to redo some shit. And you up here going 10, 11 times, and next thing you know, that shit popped on him.
Right. It goes to show you that material caved in. Something happened with the material where it caved in.
Okay, and he didn't put a tracker on it because they said some people was telling him you need to put a tracker on that thing, and he never. Well, it didn't matter. It imploded. But if they were down on the bottom of the ocean,
they would have known where.
That's why they were searching, because he didn't put no tracker on it. Different things that he was supposed to do. Anyway, he was just skirting all the way through regulations, all the way through a lot, because he just wanted to. They said that they showed a video of his crew at the Eastgate, whatever you call the name of the company, something gay. And that his main thing is, if we're going to rush, we cannot allow government
to regulate.
regulations to bog us down from what we're trying to do. And look what happened. Government regulations can be a pain in the ass.
Right, but there's some reasons for regulations. Yes.
Yeah, because that's exactly what that next paragraph says. It says in 2019, a published article in the Smithsonian Magazine referred to the OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush as a daredevil inventor. In the article, Rush described as having said, U.S. Passenger Vessel Safety Act of 1993 is needless. Prioritize passenger safety over commercial innovation. In 2022, Rush told CBS News, at some point, safety is just a waste. I mean, if you want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything. And then, right next to the thing, I was looking at this game controller, but they got a modified
I know. It was like for PS1.
Yeah, they got a modified game controller that they use to steer the fucking submarine.
Yeah, come on.
Crazy.
I need a backup, bro. I need a backup. That shit breaks.
It was a Logitech game controller. And when the guy had asked him about the light, And I think he said he got the lights from Home Depot or Party City or something. I kid you not.
Home Depot, like, shit.
Well, yeah, we can blame the submarine builder, but them people that climbed on board that damn thing,
They were bugged
knowing all
out.
this.
I mean, billions. If I'm worth billions, listen. If I'm worth billions, like I said, I'm gonna check off. Listen, we have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way. I need to make sure that anything happens, whatever scenario exists, there is a way out. There's no room for failure. So if some shit is gonna happen, I need to know that I have a way out of it. And you know what? There was no way. So right there, you answer your own question. It's like, you know what? Am I really gonna do this just to go see the Titanic? Am I gonna be part of the Titanic? Now they're gonna go visit his remnants too, which is unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But like, damn, it's a waste. It is a waste. Like you know, here again. Me being, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but if I have billions of dollars and my son, I'm worth that much money, I would have made sure there's a plan B, C, and D. Like I said, listen, we're gonna have to make sure that we got a tracking device. If we gotta pull out of here for automatically, there's a way. We gotta have something. Or if not, I'm not getting on. It doesn't make sense. I mean, you're just playing suicide then.
Well, Jay.
Well,
Jay, I didn't want to be a party pooper, but the way they described it, when they lost communication, that's when it happened.
Right.
That's when it happened.
It was right after they dropped in the water and they was going down. That motherfucker said pop on the way down.
Wow.
That's what happened because the Navy picked it up. They didn't know what that was at the time. But the Navy sonar had picked up an implosion
right and it was
them.
dumb.
They lost contact. That was them.
Wow.
That was them, and that's so sad. But Jay, if you were a billionaire and that's what you wanted to do, you wouldn't mess with him. You will go find a couple others.
Yeah. I mean, come on,
certified.
Come on, bro.
Right.
That's what you would do. You would mess with him at all. Go someplace else.
Nah,
I just can't believe they got up on that thing. Because I was talking to my mom about it. I said, I would love to go see the Titanic. I said, in a Navy nuclear sub or submarine or something.
Well, I'll stick to looking at the pictures. I ain't going down that far in the water.
It's interesting, Tyrone, on how much this guy wanted. Sorry, sis. On how much this guy wanted the government out of his business, man. I wonder if he was a Republican.
Probably was, man. We damn sure know he was a capitalist. So.
Oh yeah, shit.
He thought very highly of Elon Musk. So that should tell you a little bit right there. But you look at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They built their rockets and they went out of space. I wouldn't have got in that thing if you paid me. Not in their rockets, not in the rich people making toys and doing things. No, But this was just crazy. And I can't believe that those people didn't check that. They had to have checked it out. You got too much money not to have your people check it out. You see what I'm saying? You have your people check it out. And the minute they come back, because the information was out there that this dude was kind of fast and dangerous, and that none of his stuff was regulated.
Yeah, they was probably hyped up on the adventure of seeing the Titanic and all of that kind of stuff. So
the information was out there. You can be hyped up all you want, but the information was out there. You got that much money, you live in a easy financial life, and this was completely reckless to get in that thing. Just because he made it down and up, like this one guy, he's a retired naval captain. He used to be a captain on one of them nuclear subs. And he said, just like everybody else says, a broken clock is right 2 times a day. Mm-hmm. So that means nothing that they made it up and down a couple of times. It means nothing. It's just sad. That thing was bothering me, and I was keeping up with it. And I'm glad that it came to a conclusion today. But a lot of people have already got the conspiracies going. Y'all know that.
Man, this dude was just a dumbass, and he was so dumb with money that he didn't take the first time he goes down and comes up and take that right there, take that moment to get investors involved to build him another damn sub.
Well, he was on the
And build
boat.
it right. Yeah, he was on there.
Richard Stockton was on the boat, wasn't
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on there.
He gone. Richard Stockton is gone. I mean, it's not Richard Stockton, it's Stockton Rush. That was his name.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Stockton Rush. Yeah. Yeah, he gone.
You had me calling him.
Oh, that's because the Wiki page got his full name, Richard Stockton Rush III.
Got you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, he does have a son, so I can imagine this shit is gonna show up again. And his son supposedly went down with his, he supposedly went down once with his son or something like that. So we might not be done with it.
Might not be done with it. That company is done. The company is done.
Yeah.
Company's done. The company's done.
Somebody got to pay for all that shit.
For all that rescue and all that stuff. Because I didn't know, but the government, when you do stuff like this, they charge you for all that rescue stuff. Yep. They charge you have to pay for that. You go out in the woods and act stupid and get lost and they have to do a rescue mission. You have to pay for that. So,
and they gonna get the best that money can buy to come get your ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You pay for it though. Yeah, I mean, if you have an accident, your car fly off the bridge because the bridge broke, then you ain't got to pay for that. But if you go mountain climbing and you drunk and you get stuck up there and they got to spend money and equipment to come get you, they're going to make you pay for that. They're going to make you pay for that rescue. I didn't know that till a couple of years ago that you have to pay for that stuff.
Yeah. I knew back in the day, maybe not rescue, but like one of them, life. But I heard of a story of a dude getting charged when he threatened to jump off a building and didn't jump, and had a fire department, all that shit out there, and they sent his ass a bill.
Yeah, they will send you a bill for that for some foolishness that you did. Yeah, because that's not like an accident. It was folly. That's what someone was reading how that thing. It called it folly, and the thing they're gonna charge you for.
I think I read that in a magazine or a newspaper back in the day.
You go camping, and you don't watch your kids. Go camping, and you not watching your kids, and they get lost out in the forest. They have to do a big search. You're gonna have to pay for that. You gotta pay for that. So I mean,
Tyrone, take your drone with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can find anybody with that drone.
Yeah.
So if you go camping, take your drone.
And this is crazy, man. I can't believe that this guy half-assed this damn sub. And people
you reading it now. You reading it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't know all of this, Tyrone?
I
had
been following
it real
I did
close.
not.
This dude was nutty,
He could have the billionaire the Pakistani guy. He could have built his own vehicle for all that.
Yeah, the right way.
Like that was a waste.
Like James Cameron, the director you was talking about. He had one built the right way.
Right.
Well, and this picture on the screen now is a guy with that PlayStation controller in the submarine, controlling the submarine. That is nuts. These people are crazy.
No, I'm gonna tell you what nuts is sitting next to that motherfucker in that bitch. That's what nuts is.
Nuts. Yeah, that's not. I agree. That's nuts. The guy who he built it is his. He's just out there. But if you get up on there and you sit next to him, you nutsy.
I'm telling
You
you
are
that
nuts.
one dude, there was one guy that he didn't want to be doing all this sobbing and you know making this dude look like he something just happened like Steve Irwin. He did something he loved. No, he wanted to discuss the real reason why this motherfucker died, because these rich billionaires cut corners and do shady shit to get their little fun in, to have their little fun toys, and this one bit his ass in the butt. That's what he really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to talk about.
Well, James Cameron told it like it is. In a sense, he was saying, we expected this.
Well, that dude had a reputation for being a bit nutty.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It's just
He went
crazy.
down with the ship himself too, huh?
Hey,
He was part of that.
the captain's supposed to go down with the ship. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the creator, everything. Not only the captain, but the one that had the idea of coming up with it. So there you go.
Hey, that's why I wasn't always real keen on pilot or flying or sailing. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't going down with no ship.
Me either.
Now, is there other explorations to the Titanic? Was this the only one?
Yeah, there's other ones. They got a couple of
Well,
companies.
they got other ones coming on, but they use the remote, the things that they tried to use to find this motherfucker. They use those remote cameras, and even them things can't keep going down. They have to change them out. They have like 2 or 3 of them. After
No,
you.
I'm saying like, is there other like passenger trips?
Yeah, they do. They do.
They make them, man.
They're not the only ones that have done that. But they're regulated. Some of them are regulated, I believe.
Yeah,
this dude didn't want to do the regulation part, Tyrone. That was his issue. His whole issue.
That was the problem.
Is he wanted to do it without the government involved.
That's what his was. And all that stuff they brought up from the Titanic, what they calling them from the debris floor, from the ocean floor, like in the museums, the plates and the this and that. People are not going down there getting that. They go down there in these and those type of things, and they have them robots down on the floor, and they pick that stuff up and bring it back. Because I don't think that a human being, I don't think there's a suit or anything for a human being to be down there like that. So,
you explode. You explode literally, like you break apart. That's what they're saying. Not even your organs. They say the pressure from the organs. That's what it says. Like you won't probably like explode like the way you see like a bomb. But what happened is that the like they said implosion. Your organs, they shut down. And the pressure, the blood pressure, it just instant heart attack. It's like if you was in space without air, oxygen. You get out of. If you was to open up that astronaut suit. You would. God, there's no air. It'll just explode your heart, give you a heart attack. So I think that's what it is, and probably eyes will pop out, and things will happen with all the cavities that we have in our body, like our ears, our eyes, our mouth. Those things where there's it can go internally, your internal body parts or whatever, that you will be affected in those pieces, or in those parts of your body.
Man, it's like. When you that deep, water is heavy as fuck.
Yep. What they said, something like 10 Empire State Buildings is like
on your back.
Down. Well, they were down there. That's
on your you got like 10 Empire State Buildings on your back. So that's why you have to have those submersibles. They have to be really, really well fucking made because of the pressure of the water. And you descending or ascending. So you got gravity and the weight of the water on you, and that creates this like catastrophe if you ain't got something really sturdy built around you. And that's what the bins, y'all ever heard of the bins?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So like if you're already submerged deep in the water, you can't just pop straight up
Come out.
like a
Yeah.
bottle.
Right.
Yeah. You got to slowly come up because if you raise the pressure, I mean, if you decrease the pressure in your body too fast, it's gonna happen just like Jay said. You're gonna freaking
You're
have
gonna
a heart attack.
implode. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Your
will.
organs
Because
are
like those
taken.
guys who do the deep sea oil rigs, when they go
Right.
down there working on them things, I was watching a documentary about that. When the next crew come down, they have to decompress like 48 hours
Right.
before they bring them
Yep.
all the way out. But how does that little submersible thing work out? Because if they said it's supposed to be
They would
8
have had to be
hours, is that
decompressed too. They were supposed to be because they
I was
was in that tank, and that is a tank.
oh
They would have
okay.
had to be decompressed because even though, I mean, there is some physical effect, even though you're in that tank in that submersible that's in controlled environment. But there's things that's happening that's that uncontrollable that there's no way that a man can manipulate human beings. So I'm taking that even like the pressure, you still feeling some type of pressure. The air quality, obviously, because you're in a tank. That's another thing is that you're in a controlled environment where you're limited to, what the average oxygen and things that you would get here. Whether it be pressure, space, things like that. So I think there's a multitude of things that's happening in there from your body being underwater
Well, Jay,
Yeah.
they
or
didn't get
deep
to
in.
they didn't get to experience it this time because it seemed like to me none of that emergency systems, none of that shit mattered because that sun
Right.
gun blew up
As soon as
on
they
the way
went down.
down there. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
still
was a
curious to
terrible
find
built.
out.
It was a terrible built ship, man. Um,
Yeah,
it was
right.
only a matter of time before this happened.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. That's why I said, Tyrone, I mean, think about it. The minute you go down there in your rinky dink, Home Depot made ass sub, somebody's gonna want to fund you a real nice sub. You know what I mean? All you
Yeah.
got to do is probably go out there and talk to him, him shimmy shake.
Well, I
You'll
mean,
be the first person I take down once you build that mother. Oh yeah,
yeah,
I don't
like
even
like Elisa keep alluding to the nuclear subs. There's a reason that they build them that way. You
right.
know,
Yeah.
there's no submarines built like this. This guy built this a carbon fiber
Well,
mixed with
that
whatever.
one, yeah, that one dude said a normal sub is built, out of titanium. You know,
Mhm. And they said he didn't test that thing long enough because it could have been great, but it needed to be tested. And one expert said, "And you don't do testing that deep. You
oh
don't
hell
test that
no.
type of testing that
Well,
deep.
he
It
did.
was the whole thing was reckless.
Oh, that was too soon.
Sacrificial lamb.
Hey
It was
man, people
reckless.
gonna guarantee somebody gonna take his work and
Lamb
improve
and
on it.
lamb. He's a sacrificial lamb
Oh,
and
most
lamb.
oh most definitely somebody's going to improve on it and get it done right, and then that will be the next best thing. But I'm looking at the videos of him talking when that reporter was like, "Well, I see that
That
you
dude
got
is
kind of a
nutty.
hodgepodge."
Yeah,
What
that
he
dude's
said,
crazy, man.
and when he asked him about the light, he says, I don't remember whether he said it was Party City or Home Depot where he got them lights. And I'm like, y'all crazy enough to get in that thing and get in that thing. But this dude, he told me he got the lights from there, and he showed you the controller is not even a PlayStation. It was one of those off brands. It was Logitech, and you gonna get in that thing with him?
You try to cut
And
corners,
he
man.
talked.
Unfortunate.
And when he asked him, he said, "Well, if the lights go out, or do you have any?" He said, "If the lights, if that fails, if this fails," he said, "long as the tube holds up, then we all good." I
Mm.
mean, are you crazy? And you gonna get in? I don't know.
See the interview with him talking where he was just casually laughing like, yeah, well, your temperature goes and then you knock out and then you just die. Something. The guy was talking about it.
Man, that ain't how it happened.
He said it like that. It was like he was just saying it casually and shit. I was like, oh no. I said this guy, he really didn't. You know, he was. I guess whatever happens type of thing. You know, that's the way he was going into it. Like, yeah, you know, it's most likely.
That was the inference. That was the inference I got from them two dudes. That was there. He asked to go there. Nah, I'm not going there.
Look at that interview, Tyrone, if you could pull it up, of him speaking in 2017. The guy that created it, he was talking in an interview and he was talking casually of what would happen. And if it happened, hey, it's like, oh, well, you know, this is what would happen. If this fails, and then you feel the cold and then you die. He was like, yeah, it's possible. You know, he was just talking like he was expecting something like that could happen.
And they don't even think like their remains are anywhere near the Titanic because there's rivers and shit underwater that deep.
Yeah.
And they feel there's currents and shit, and they probably been pulled somewhere anywhere. Man.
That's crazy.
Look. No. Not getting in no water like that, not getting in no air like that.
It said 2 miles down, 2 to 3 miles down. It says it takes 2 to 3 hours to get down there, because it's not like you going 2 miles across. You're talking about
they gonna slowly drop you down there and slowly bring you back up. Yeah.
Tyrone, type in. Okay, you got Stockton Rush. Yeah. Type in CBS. Type in CBS. And that might bring it up. No, type in CBS with it, because he was talking to a CBS reporter.
Right, it was being interviewed. 2017, I believe.
Type in CBS.
That dude a little crazy, man.
He was as casual as could be. Like, yeah. Watch when you hear the audio, it'll speak for itself. You're like, damn. He's like, he was ready for this.
I don't know if I would ride to the store to get some cigars with that motherfucker.
Nah, he's dangerous, man. He's driving blindfolded just to do it. Just to told you I could drive a car without my eyes. Like, oh, we don't want to test that right now.
Hey, Jay, this will be the motherfucker. This will be a motherfucker say, you need to get some guards? Yeah, I'll run you up there, nigga. And he back up to pick you up and keep backing up to the store.
and the store's about a mile away. He's reversing all the way to the shop.
Those lights and everything. He's always driving backwards and shit. Oh no.
Okay,
bro.
Tyrone, I'ma send it to you. I found it. Now just type in. Okay, just go in YouTube and type in CBS interview with Stockton Rush. So type in CBS interview with Stockton Rush.
Okay, I'm typing it now. I'm gonna take this 2017 now.
And you'll see it'll come up. And they'll show a little. Is that the short CBS?
What's the title of the video?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh no, I hate when they put these shorts. This is just a short. Let me hold on. That's just one of those shorts. I hate that YouTube CBS interview with what does. Let me see the video, because that was a short. Titanic missing sub.
It's gonna tell itself from the beginning. It's like a suicide interview.
What's it like?
You think that's what he was trying to do, Jay New York? Commit suicide?
Nah, that man was trying to make some money. He thought he was gonna make this trip.
Nah, he told you. He was basically doing a disclaimer. That's what he was doing. He's like, listen, this is what it is, and I'm ready to go. You know, I already know this is gonna happen, and you know, this is what's gonna happen. You know, regulations. Well, we went around all that. And again, when you hear him with his own words say what he says, you can make out what that is, and I'm pretty sure most people are gonna come up to the same assessment. Like, wow, this guy, he's on the edge.
What you're saying, Jay New York, is as the submersible was going underwater, that started going down. When they started hear the creaking and the popping, and everybody got worried, Stockton Rush started smiling and popped a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, if you could get to the bottle of champagne before the water came in, but yeah, more or less. And it's sad, but that's the way people make out what they're gonna make out of it, because I can't speak for.
Okay, Ty,
but you were here.
The reporter that's on the screen, that's him. But I'm trying to find the one where he's doing the short interview. Oh no, I'm looking at my own screen. Never mind.
Whoa.
I'm gonna check on.
So he was that nutty, huh? I don't know, Jay New York. All I know is
what's the guy's name?
Stockton Rush.
David Poe.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah,
that
Stockton
dude
Rush interview on YouTube. Listen, he did it. You can see the interview. They got one on the New York Post, right?
Well, what did you type in there?
I put Stockton Rush interview. I just put it in, but I put it in YouTube.
Stockton Rush interview. I'm gonna put that in there.
But that's not the interview, honestly. That's not it, because they showing just pieces of it. He's showing you
well, that's
the
what
remote control look like
into.
PS2. Yeah. Nah, hold on. Let me get you that interview.
Hey, you know, right now, he a hot guy. He trending. I guarantee you, he trending.
Damn, he's trending too late, man. And a little damn.
And they probably got pictures of the wreckage that they ain't releasing and everything.
Oh, of course. They probably won't release that because people died. Let me see.
Man, can you believe that? I mean, they died the first day, but it took them 4 days to go down there and find out.
Well, I guess that father and son thing kind of touched me, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? He probably was doing that. Maybe the son was doing it for the dad, or the dad was doing, adventure seekers. But it's kind of his own fault, Tyrone. I mean, I got $1 billion. I'm gonna build one for me and my son to go down there.
Right, and make sure that the safety is right. Like, that's all he had to do. It's not like the dude didn't have no money. That's why I would have never did that. I would be like, wait, you telling me that all these aren't right? Oh, that we could die? That's what I said. Like, with all that money, and then I got my son there. It's like, oh, well, we're gonna make sure everything is right. If I gotta put on a tank, one of those suit to float up or something. We gotta have an emergency. We gotta have some emergency precautions, man. There's no room for failure. And look, with all the billions, again, they ain't check that box.
You know what the stupidest thing of all was? You could not open that damn little thing, little submersible up from the inside. Somebody would have to open it up from.
Right, they were locked in. That's
what
right.
the fuck?
The pressure, the way it's set up. Right.
Tyrone, I found a short. It's not a long video, but it's just there's a little piece of the interview. It's if you type, it's CBS story. Let me just send it to you. Hold on, let me find my.
Ain't no damn way I'm getting in some shit. There ain't no hatch. You know what I mean? That's
those
crazy.
folks was in it for the adventure, man. That's probably what they
Hey, Tyrone, so when the adventure goes wrong, okay? Because this is one of those. I'm telling you, if they'd have did if that billionaire would have did the research, he would have known that. Look, man, this submersible's been down too many times. I'm gonna build you a new one. I got the money.
Who's this caller here? Just called in. Unknown caller. Who's this on the line?
Oh, this is Miss Lady. Hello.
What's happening,
Peace,
Miss Lady?
peace.
You know what? Allegedly, that boy did not want to go. He was so afraid. He really didn't want to do it. He was scared to death.
Somebody
And
said
his
that.
father pressured him into doing it.
So it was the dad doing it for the son. God damn.
He pressured him to doing it, and he was scared to death, the boy. I felt, oh, Lord,
Yeah,
this is a man.
Yeah, they said
Well, that boy sound like he was
made
19, so he sounded like he did a little bit of reading before he got on there.
A lot of reading, Tyrone.
His aunt said that it was mainly because it was Father's Day weekend, and he didn't. Tyrone, I sent it to you.
Okay.
Said it was Father's Day weekend, and he didn't want to disappoint his dad. That's so sad. He was supposed to disappoint him.
Experimental submersible.
You know, their culture and stuff is different from ours. So if your father wants you to do something, not doing it is, you know how cultures are. It's going against the person's honor and stuff like that.
Was that father, was he a billionaire? Because I heard there were some wealthy people.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
So you think maybe sometimes when you're at that level of resources and you have power, you just don't think nothing bad's going to happen to you. Just like our ex-president.
Miss Lady, this Pakistan guy was the richest Pakistan. He was the richest guy in Pakistan. Yes.
Shoot.
Wow. That's the one who he died with his son?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who that mother? I know she is.
I'll be even worried about like sharks and all type of big animals that are down there that we don't even know about.
A whale
like that. And even not even something to run into it, because all it takes is not even about biting it, because it might bite and not go through, penetrate, but hitting it with an impact, thousands of pounds, and that'll crack.
I know, or a whale.
Yeah,
and
something like that.
How come they just didn't go on a real submarine? They had enough money.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. See, now, Miss Lady, that's what I was saying. If I had $1 billion and I just had to go down there with this dude, then I'm gonna build a damn sub.
All right, so guys, I'll play this audio right now.
Yeah.
An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign?
The search for the OceanGate submersible and its 5 passengers that disappeared in the Atlantic Ocean on Monday continues. The Titan, which is operated by OceanGate Expeditions, was carrying 5 people down to the location of the Titanic wreckage when it lost contact an hour and 45 minutes into its dive on Sunday. And with less than 20 hours until they run out of oxygen, the Canadian and U.S. Coast Guards continue their search and rescue mission in hopes of returning the 5 passengers home safely to their friends and families.
Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
But now a 6-month-old CBS story about the OceanGate submersible is going viral after host David Pogue raised questions about the vessel's safety to OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush.
We only have one button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. We can use these off-the-shelf components. I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! It seems like this submersible has some elements of MacGyver-y jerry-rigness. I mean, you're putting construction pipes as ballast.
As of 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, the U.S. Coast Guard said that a Canadian P-3 search plane detected underwater search noises in the search area, described as banging noises about 900 miles off the coast of Cape Cod, with each noise being approximately 30 minutes apart.
That's about it. It's just a little snippet. Tyrone. So if you want to see the whole interview, that was just the guy, the CBS reporter was just laughing. Yeah, that's it. Was just laughing. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And because he told him this looks like piecemeal. And Stockton was like, yeah. But if you want the full interview, you have to pull the full interview up on CBS.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, just the way he was handling it there. I mean, I wouldn't have got on that damn boat.
No fucking way, Tyrone.
Well, go ahead, Miss Lady. I didn't mean to cut you off. She still here?
Oh no, that's all I wanted to say. I haven't really done a whole lot of reading about it, except it just made no sense to go into something like that and take your child. I mean, he's already voiced. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But you know, people do things, so they're not thinking sometimes.
What you say? Have so much money, you think you invincible?
You're invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that
Everything's
was. The
gone your
money.
way.
That was money on that
It's
boat.
gone
There.
your way. Your deals have
Until
gone your
it
way.
don't go your way, and it's usually a catastrophe, just like our ex-president.
Yeah, until it don't go your way. That man spent $500,000 to kill himself and his son. That's sad. That's sad.
He paid $500,000 for that ride.
Yep, for both him and his son, $250,000 apiece. That other billionaire dude, he paid his $250,000 piece. I'm not sure about the other one, but he got him. That Pakistani dude paid $500,000 to kill himself and his son.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if they weren't nice to their wives was like, yay, except for the boy. and then the mistresses are like, oh, hopefully they got set up nice, okay? Because now the party ends.
I feel bad. I feel bad for the boy though, because he only went because he felt pressured, and it was Father's Day. But he didn't want. They said he was frightened. He was scared. He was scared to do it, and he was just supposed to have to dishonor his father and not do it. And the thing is, the mother wouldn't be able to say nothing because those type of people, their culture, whatever he say is low. So I mean, you took your son down in that thing. And I can imagine the other Pakistani people, and from where, you know, he's Britain, he's from Britain, but it's just where other Pakistani people probably is like, see, this is what you get for messing around with crazy white folks. You know, a lot of them is saying that.
You know.
Nope.
Yeah, see that and that whole story where they
what was
took
the point
off.
What was the point of going in there in the first place? What were they trying to do?
To visit the Titanic.
Sightseeing.
To visit the Titanic.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose.
God.
But you know what? I wouldn't mind.
They couldn't think of nothing else to do on Father's Day.
Well, I mean, his father always wanted to do that, and I guess that was the weekend that the company chose to do it. Now, I'm down people for something that they really want to do. If someone offered me in a Navy nuclear submarine to go down to see the bottom of the ocean and the Titanic, I might think about it. But it would have to be some type of Navy nuclear submarine.
I'll go to space.
Not some little flung together non-standard little submersible.
I wouldn't give a damn.
He got parts from Camper World. That's for RVs and shit.
Camper World. What did I say? A Home Depot, but yeah, it was Camper World. I know it was some place that you could buy like a parts for a thing. But I will go into space.
Too bad that mother didn't tell that son to act like he felt sick and like he was catching COVID or something, and put the thermometer on the heater and his temperature's up. You know, he can't go.
Hey, look, I appreciate you, Sister Alicia, but look, Aquaman couldn't get me to go down there. Okay, fuck that. No.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go either. I continue to look at the pictures. The picture do me justice. I ain't going down there.
I don't want to go up in one of them rocket ships either, like Elon Musk and his.
I wouldn't get on theirs. But if I had a chance to get on the space shuttle, yes, I would consider it.
Yeah, I'll do that before I go up under that water.
Space shuttles, they have exploded.
They lost one. So, but I'm just
For
saying,
me.
if I had a chance to go on the space shuttle, now I probably would do that. It would have to be the space shuttle. I wouldn't get on
Mm.
Bezos or Elon Musk and them rockets. I would get on. I would go. I would do the space shuttle.
Yeah,
I would get on the
Elon Musk,
space
the
shuttle.
last rocket just blew up.
I'm telling you.
Oh, it blew
Look,
up. I didn't know his.
No, he had a successful one just the other day. He had one blow up and another one just flew out, but it flew
So
out
what
of
do you
I didn't
call
know
it
that.
when you spin the gun and then you put the
Russian roulette.
roulette. You talking
Yeah,
about
Russian
that's what it
roulette.
is.
Russian
Something
roulette?
like Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the
Nah,
space shuttle,
I
they've
won't be
had
able to
so
do
many
it.
missions over the years. They've had a lot of missions back and forth out of space. Going to space on the space shuttle. They lost one.
Yeah.
So I would get on the space shuttle.
They lost
I
one
would
in
do.
'86, and the one that came back in. Remember that it broke apart when it came in.
Oh
So
yeah, they
it was
lost two. Yeah, they lost two.
yeah,
You're right. I
yeah. That
forgot
was
they lost two.
it broke in when it came back into the atmosphere. There was a hole. There we go. We
Atmosphere.
talk about there was a hole like
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say a hair, but um there
The
was a tear that opened
there was
up
a tip.
yeah,
The
it
thing, yeah,
penetrated through where it opened up the inside, and basically it blew
but
it
it
up.
was the same thing with the first one because it kept freezing and they didn't know if they could go and it
Right.
would freeze over. It was having frost and they said well they had it defrosted. We're gonna go, and evidently some type of crack or some type and it blew up on the
Right,
way out of.
right, right.
So, but they've had a lot of successful missions with the space shuttle. I would do that. I really would. I would go on the space shuttle.
I ain't
I
gonna
will
do
go
it.
to space too, and I know that there's a chance that something can happen. But what I do is this: is I wait until a couple of people take that space flight. So get a couple of hundred people, keep taking a flight, and obviously we can't afford it at this point. But when it becomes affordable, then millions already have done it or thousands, and then you can take your chance, and then you calculate. Well, hopefully nothing happens on the flight that you're in. It's like taking a plane. I think it's similar to taking a plane, getting on a ship. You know,
Yeah.
when we're on mechanical vehicles, right? That the human has built, and we're around different environments, things can happen, and then you calculate it, and things can be more. So when you put yourself in a submarine, it's like wow, now you're dealing with a lot of different dynamics that can get you in a situation. Oxygen, decompression, getting lost, all type of different things. So I think that yeah, when you put yourself in those scenarios, it's like yeah, there's stuff on the table that you have to evaluate. Is it worth it, or is it just like taking a plane ride? Do you need to do it, or do you want to do it? What's the calculations or the probability that can happen? But there's always a chance that it can happen. There's nothing that can't
Yeah.
happen in the sense of it's never impossible. And it doesn't matter how many billions you have. Look at that.
That's true. That's true. But like I remember William Shatner, then he went up on Bezos rocket. And I thought that was
Right.
good. I thought that was great that they asked him. But he's also like he was like 90 years old. So I mean, I don't blame him for doing that. Because that's what he's known as Captain Kirk. And he was like 90.
He was
So if
willing to
something happened,
die.
yeah, but he's lived a full life. He was like 90, and he's like, let's hope it go pretty good. And he win. They made it back.
Right.
I thought it was great that they
Hey, if
took
his
him.
ass would have died,
He would
the
have died
William
happy.
Shatner shit would have went up, bro. That shit would have went up. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Anything William Shatner would have cost
Would have
millions,
prices
nigga.
would have went
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, nigga.
Skyrocket. Any Star Trek type of shit, forget about it.
Shit.
Well, yeah, but he
But
made it.
man,
That was yeah.
but check it out. These dudes going down in history as like some dumbasses, man. Because I'm sorry, man. When you see this dude's track record and you go down there with him, you
Well,
sweet.
look. You just came out the bar. Everybody had a couple of drinks, and then the driver is the one that had the most drinks. Now you're gonna let him drive. He said, "No, let me
No,
try.
no.
Let me
Hey,
try."
Jay, New York, a better. Hey, no, hold on. I got a better one. It's a dude at the damn bar. He's got all the girls dancing. He's sloppy fucking drunk. He done passed the fuck out. We
Falling
carrying
on the
his ass out
floor.
to the car. It's the chauffeur, nigga. This nigga.
I'm your chauffeur for the night.
This the chauffeur we carrying out to the car.
and you carrying them out to the driver's seat.
Take me home, James.
Say what?
The fuck?
Yeah, that's the equivalence to this dude. I would have been like, man, so you mean to tell me that you ain't check off? I mean, this is the billionaire asking him, like, so you telling me that there's nothing that we can do? No, there's nothing. We pretty much, so if the oxygen run out, yeah, we already signed up. That's what you signed up for. Wow.
Yeah.
That was it. They
nah, that motherfucker was being that damn capitalism. It was in his fucking blood. He didn't want to spend $500 million to build a really good sub. He wanted to spend $250,000 a piece and go down to the bottom on the cheap. It's what. I'm sorry. I'm worth billions. Then, goddamn it, me and my son. We finna go down in a Maybach, nigga. Right. We going down there in a Maybach, nigga. And I'm finna have niggas like Captain Kirk and Tuvok and motherfucking 7 of 9 and Captain Janeway all running that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Aquaman.
You know what I'm talking about? Aquaman gonna be driving the damn thing. What you talking about, Sid? Ain't going down there in no rinky dink. That's like calling an Uber. It's like calling an Uber to take you down to see the damn Titanic. You know?
Yeah, basically.
No way, man. I'm going to
the
stop.
big black SUV premium ride. You going on the little rat trap? You know.
He in a
Prius that needs a new battery, okay?
He in a Prius that got junkyard tires on the motherfucker.
And got about 300K miles and the battery's about to go out.
All the windows smashed out, you know? No, I'm not going to New York with you in that. No.
That's the crazy thing. Like, I get the carbon fiber, but because of the weight wise, but I would have had that double layered up in there. Double layered.
Jay, New York, it was proven. See, I don't know. I'm a simple man. He proved he was smart enough for it to work, right?
Right.
So now, before I take my seed
test it out a couple
down there, before I put my seed's life in danger, it's one thing for me to put myself in danger. But I got my son going down there. Nigga, we going down there in style, nigga. We going down there with all safety, everything. You don't want to pay the money and wait for the motherfucking regulation. Well, I will. You see what I'm saying?
Let me see who this caller is. Who's this caller?
Yo, this is Anthony. I just want to know, is one of the stories about pedo Polite tonight, man?
What happened to Polite?
No.
What happened to Polite?
What happened to Polite? Y'all don't know?
No, you telling us the news right now. What happened?
You on the news right now, man. You on the news.
Right, he took a plea deal in that when he was messing with that 14-year-old girl.
His girl's daughter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
In Miami? In Miami?
No.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's gonna get fried down there, bro.
Yeah, and it's weird because in the so-called country community, you got niggas. I don't know, they're pedo sympathizing right now for this nigga. Like, they're pretty much victim and mother shaming. I don't know, man. This shit weird, bro. I thought it was out there way more than that. I don't know.
So he took the plea deal. Did they say how much how much time? Because I didn't even know. I had thought about this about a month ago because we hadn't heard anything more about it.
No, we're not gonna.
So did they
They're
say
not gonna know until. They're not gonna know until July.
July
the 7th, I think.
Oh,
July
That's when they gonna say the terms because he's gonna have to go to court.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's gonna say listen. So you pleaded this, you agreed to this.
Wait, when you plead, now remember, Jay, New York. Remember, when you plead out, you are admitting guilt. So that's what a lot of that. When you in court, when you go back to court to take the plea deal, you're gonna have to stand up in front of the court and say, I did this, I did that, this, and that happened.
You agreed to that,
Yeah. So we gonna hear it all.
That's why I don't understand why people still fuck around with Charlemagne the God, because he pled to a lesser charge. That means he was guilty of drugging that young girl and taking advantage of her. So he guilty, and people still act like he didn't fucking date rape that damn girl. So if Polite take a plea, that means that he molested a damn child.
Yeah, she pretty much gave him head, and now they're trying to lie and to say that the daughter had on the mother dress. And that wasn't, that was calm. That that happened when he was with her mother, not her. They got images of the girl at the hotel and shit.
He's lightweight compared to Charlemagne. Charlemagne is profits over a principle in a sense of status.
It shows how the black community protect these niggas, man. It's weird.
No, but I'm saying that what
don't put that on the whole black community though, bro.
Oh no, we're known for protecting the pedos and shaming the victims. We're like the black.
I don't know about the whole black community.
I say Charlemagne. Listen, Charlemagne again. I'm going to be clear. The reason that is different because Charlemagne is in a mainstream. He's in the mainstream is really the industry. Whatever company he works for, they kept him because they looked over profits over principle. They said, well, look, the ratings are bringing this much. If it was getting more backlash and a negative, then they probably would have dropped him. But for them, it was more positivity in the sense of getting them ratings. It didn't fall, it didn't drop. So they rolled it out with him. Now, what's his name is doesn't have that type of base. I don't know, but you're saying that right now they're trying to protect him. But I'm not talking about industry.
For a lot of channels though, they're trying to help that nigga, bro.
Any mainstream platform trying to help him?
No, just the people that he frequent with in the so-called country community, like bro, it's weird, bro. Y'all niggas just.
So that's the whole black community?
Nah, that's gonna be some. You're gonna be have some, of course, or something. I don't know.
Most people are saying.
Just even saying that.
That's in any community.
Just to even say that out your mouth. Why are you saying it sounds ridiculous and you still say it?
That's been a stain on the black community a long time, bro.
Man, bro, you feel stupid every time you say black community.
But well,
because that just doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense, man.
They ain't gonna ride it out with him.
Don't say the whole black community. He has some kind of fan base or follow base, and they probably gonna stick with him. But come on, R. Kelly still got motherfucking still think he didn't do nothing wrong. That's plausible. I can understand. I'm still talking, nigga. I can understand. Donald Trump has 30% of them crackers, tied up. So I get the Jim Jones effect. But to say the whole entire black community, man, that's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, we all should be held accountable, bro. Because R. Kelly been guilty since 2001, and why did it take so long for him to get locked up? We been knew that nigga was guilty, touching on babies and shit.
Yeah, but that was another thing. That was the industry holding them
But
up.
no,
Profit
you kept
over
running his
principle.
music. You kept supporting the
No,
nigga,
profit
knowing
over principle is the pressure. Now the pressure came in, and then it came in, and there was people that put the pressure, and then that's when it happened. So I mean, I think is you're gonna always have a portion, and there's people right now that says that he's innocent or that they jacked him up, but not everybody. A lot of people say, yo, I'm messing with him. A lot of celebrities. What celebrity standing up for R. Kelly? What celebrity right now standing up for R. Kelly in public? None. None.
Bro.
They'll say he's talented. They don't take away that and say, you know what, he was talented, but
I'm talking about the average mind.
No, I know what you're saying about the community and all that, but yeah, I don't know.
The people who are celebrity worshiping, not a celebrity. Like they're looking more at a celebrity. They're looking at more of polite and a whack ass, pseudo ass debates he been in, and I'm like, dude, like that nigga need to go to hell or jail, bro. Bottom line, bro, ain't nothing else to talk about, bro. Hell or jail. Because I remember that, but there was a time where the niggas took it up on themselves, where they'll go in and you know, take that nigga and do what they got to do, and the cops didn't do nothing about it. They allowed it to happen, man. Like, and now niggas just want to wait until it play out. Like, no, nigga, what if it was your daughter? That's all I got, though.
Well, you know, that's more common than people, I think, realize. It happens often. And I would say probably at least 25% of women, when they were young, you know, or 30%, either they were approached and somehow, thank God it didn't happen, or it did happen. That's common. Andrew Tate just got indicted over there in Romania, and his brother, for rape, sexual assault, and for sex trafficking.
So you think the white community got their version of the passport, bros?
Well, they had theirs before the black.
Right. Come on, sis.
Yeah, they've been doing that. Oh yeah, they've been doing that, but they were just quiet about their stuff. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Like you say, they made it a whole worldwide thing to go to Africa and take it. So why not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember being in Belize decades ago. I mean, and I was about to pull my hair out. I saw there was a Caucasian man who looked like he was probably late 40s. And he had a girlfriend he was taking care of, and she was 16. She had been with him since she was 15.
Damn.
And then I saw him she looked like she was about 11 or 12 years old, a little girl washing clothes on the rocks. He looked at her, slowed down. He smiled, that really sickening smile. And she smiled and waved back, because he's the man with the money, you know? He was from Texas, by the way.
So the passport bros imitating the white men.
Yeah, but see, the difference is that white man was living over there, and he was actually taking care of that young girl. She had had a baby by someone, and he wasn't married to her, but he was actually taking care of her. You know, because she got her teeth fixed, she told me, and he did all this stuff, and he takes care of her and the baby. See, they going. The difference is the broke passport bros are going over there to try and get the cheapest prostitute or girls that they can, you know, have sex with for the cheapest price for $5-10. Okay, they're not trying to do anything for anybody. Okay,
What? Sis?
they're not
So
trying to improve their life.
That's called cheap passport bros. That's passport
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you go halfway around the damn world just to do some shit you do right around the block?
Passport bros with no
Yeah,
dough.
they can't get girls around the block. They don't have the money to get girls around the block. They don't have enough whatever it takes to get girls. Have you seen some of them? Oh my God!
No, I have.
No.
Fortunately for me, I have not watched one video with one of these knuckleheads.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be honest with you.
And don't give them a view, not even a view on YouTube.
I mean, the black women here, they not feminine. They not feminine. And you look at them, and you go, you must not have looked in the mirror for the past few years.
This is the Star Report. I'm your host, Star. Welcome to the show. It's Thursday afternoon research edition. Let's get right into it. Brother Polite, a.k.a. Michael Nowak Jr., earlier this week has pleaded guilty in a sense. He has accepted a plea deal involving a 14-year-old and a rape case going back to August 2021. Again, a rape case involving a 14-year-old at a hotel 2021. And Brother Polite is expected to turn himself in within less than 60 days. I do not know the details of the plea deal just yet, but this is picking up a lot of traction in the urban community, and I expect it to be pretty much within the next 24 hours, the top story. Brother Polite has accepted a plea deal. All right. Surprisingly, I'm not here to kick Brother Polite's back. I want to ask the question, why is there an atmosphere of acceptance with regards to people like Brother Polite and other?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had my TV up too loud.
No, it was here.
No, we was listening.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was, Star.
The brother wasn't so polite, huh?
Yeah, so.
Well, Anthony made news tonight. So there you go.
He broke. Breaking news.
Then I heard another recording of when they were in court, and I think it was the prosecution and his lawyer, but he's going to have to turn himself in because he said this is going to be involving jail time. So I guess he has a certain amount of days that he's going to have to surrender, and then they'll do the sentencing. Because I think he's been out on bail for a little while now. So, yeah, that's where we are with that.
Yep. And who is this unknown caller here?
Hey, bro, I called in on my computer.
All right. Yeah, look, and what amazes me is I know everybody remember how popular that guy was and how people was listening to him and all that kind of stuff.
Superstar.
This is ridiculous. But it goes to show you, as these people get these idols on social media. As these people get these idols on social media, you never know who the fuck you following on this thing, man. You know, these guys.
Don't follow no man.
Yeah, these guys are turning out to be creeps, man.
Yeah. Because I thought about that case about a month ago. I thought about it about a month ago, and I couldn't find anything on it. So that thing slipped.
I thought it went dead too. I didn't hear about it. I was like, it
I didn't know
disappeared.
about it until now.
Right.
So I'm glad that he called in and gave us that information because that thing sure crossed my mind last week.
And for all you polite fans, right? If you're going to support him, what needs to be happening if this guy is innocent is he need to be fighting the charge. He need to be saying I'm not guilty of this. He need to be fighting it. So if he plead to even if he plead a simple assault, plead to something that's like ridiculous, that means that he committed this original crime and he's taking a lesser charge. By working out a deal in the court system. I'm opening these lines.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
Does this fall under the jurisdiction of the Dade County? Is this the city of Miami, Dade County? I just want to know if anybody knows of that case because
that's Dade County.
Yeah. All right, so two things that's in there, right? Over there they don't play, right? When you get caught up in something there, innocent or guilty, you better have your shit right. If he is in a bad situation, yeah, they might be playing because they got some shit. They saying, look, they got this, and if you take it to court and you lose, you're gonna go for a long time. Cause over there they don't play. That's everybody looks at Florida, and remember that's DeSantis world. But before DeSantis, that shit's been a hang 'em high state for me for years. That Florida, as beautiful as it is with the beaches, the court system, and it's very racist. A lot of the people in position of power in there very racist. So off top, that you have that. But if you got some shit that you're guilty of, yeah, you in some problems. You in some real big problems. So he had to take a plea because shit was not looking right on his end. Because if not, like you say, you can go fight that shit. Get yourself a lawyer. Remember, he had money. Remember, he was showing the man.
I thought he was in L.A. I thought he had moved to L.A. Remember?
No, but
and he was hanging with those that NBA player and
from my understanding, he went to Miami. He took this girl, like I think the mom and the girl, he took them on vacation, both, and then left the mom in the hotel room and took the little girl.
Yeah, he's a predator.
Because I remember
there's just a lot of predators. It's just the world is full of them.
But when he was charged, he was facing, I think, something like 18 years in prison.
There you go.
For what he was charged for. So whatever plea he took, he took the plea to get less time. But the little snippet that I heard from the court, in the court, when they were going over it, it was the prosecution and his lawyer. And he was telling them, well, y'all need to do this, that. She said he's going to have to turn himself in. They're giving him 60 days because she said this is going to be involving jail time. So,
he's in. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there.
He's going in.
And he's
going to have to register. He's going to have to register, which is the biggest thing that's going to be on the record. If, obviously the biggest thing is for you to get caught up in some shit or you put yourself in some situation. But now you got that on your record. Very, very ugly. The most dirtiest charge you could ever get. Humiliating, disgusting, and sad.
And then when you move to a certain neighborhood, the neighbors don't want you to live there if you're a child predator, and all of that kind of stuff. So they'll try and get you up out of there. They find out. I hope I guess he saved some of that money he pilfered off of folks selling his books and didn't he pilfer a lot? Doing a whole bunch of
money. But from what I was hearing in the court, he wasn't there for the hearing that they had the other day. He was not there, and it was the lawyers talking with the judge. And the judge said, well, when we come back on July 7th, he's going to have to appear, and he's going to have to turn himself in. And that's what they said, because this is involving jail time. So whatever plea he took, he probably took a plea for maybe get around 8-10 years or something, but he's going up. So that's basically what they were saying. He's going to have to surrender in.
I think we hopped over. Hearing. I think we hopped over a major subject as we dealing with this, right? Wait a minute, isn't he indigenous? Doesn't he fall under the indigenous, whatever sector, or the Moors, or whatever?
No. Get this, nigga. That he was a Nuwapian under Dr. York.
So, whoa. That's
right. He was a Nuwapian. Isn't he Nigerian? I think he's Nigerian.
Well, he's got Nigerian in his family, yeah.
Right, so he's tied into Dr. York. That's right. Oh,
remember, Dr. York was his teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a video out there of him stating he don't care. He raped 1,000 kids or something like that.
Yeah.
He's still in bed.
Yikes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he was saying that's still my dad. I saw that video. It was
Yeah.
just deplorable.
I mean, I don't think these people are that they're not going to bring up. They're looking at his feeds. They're looking at his connections to who he's tied into in his past, because he's a so-called public figure or made himself a YouTube sensation, right? So, him being tied into that man and that whole religious organization or group or clan or whatever you want to call it, is going to be something that they're going to be looking into, and who knows, that might be part of his sentence, in the sense of the influence that they're going to try to, oh, well, you know what, since you plead, we could give you anywhere from, 4 to 8, and then they give him 8, because, this guy's tied into Dr. York. You know what?
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. York. And then they start digging in, and they're like, oh, wait. Nah, he's not going to go. He's not going away so freely. Yeah, and Florida's known for stuff like that, so he just found himself in a bad situation.
All of that's gonna be on the table, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Florida don't play with that shit. Like, I mean, they contradict themselves so many ways, but they're brutal with those type of cases.
Well, I know now this is just like word of mouth or whatever, and but we need to see some documents. So I'm gonna try to see if I can.
There are documents out there.
That's what I'm saying. I need to see them.
You could go to Miami-Dade County. Dade County has all that shit publicly, because they put your shit out there.
I'm gonna send you the video that I listened to where somebody had a snippet from the court. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, because either way, just to be wrapped up into this stuff is just terrible enough with a underage child. And if this is the result so far, I mean, geez, man, this guy is a piece
Tyrone.
of shit.
This is man, this is more than underage, man.
Right.
He messing with basically still a tweenie. We call them tweenies, in between the teen.
Yeah.
And because technically 14 ain't no. Yeah, you a teenager, but you ain't no fucking teenager. You still a damn baby.
You gotta have a child that age.
The sickest people out there in this situation was the one trying to blame that child for her sexuality.
Right.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Oh, Tyrone, if you want to find the video with the snippet from the court, you type in Captain, and the podcaster's name is PADARYACH in the Lab Podcast. That's the channel.
You say Captain what?
T as in Tom, AZARYACH in the Lab Podcast. That's the name of the channel.
That's Tazariot.
Yeah.
Oh, Tazariot gonna fry that nigga.
Oh,
he already did.
And you'll see the video that I'm talking about, and it's a snippet. How he got that? I'm
actually gonna go see what Sarah Sutin said he got to say about the nigga. Cause that nigga funny. Damn, did I stop the show?
No, you didn't.
No.
I'm looking for the plea. I see. I got the video up, and
man, everybody that did it came within any vicinity of this man gonna do a damn show.
Hey Tyrone, go ahead and
the name of the video is called "The Plea Deal of Brother Polite," but that's the channel. The Captain Taraziak.
Yeah.
In the Lab Podcast. That's the channel. The video is The Plea Deal of Brother Polite.
Yeah, he break it down pretty good.
Well, yeah, I'm looking for dates and all that kind of stuff. I see the charges. These are the charges that we read before. I don't see the dates and all of that.
What is if you had his first and last name and looked in the Miami-Dade shit, that shit will pop up. You find out.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do, because that's what I did last time to download it, but I didn't do it tonight though.
I mean,
his
real name is
Michael Nowak.
I just had his name.
It's Michael Nowak.
Yeah. Nowak. Yeah, there you go.
Nowak. Yeah, right.
When he got arrested, what he's charged with, and what's the status of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's something has happened. That's why people are talking again, and good for his ass. I don't know what else to say. Good, because even with his, like, he's in a situation with that first wife. He raised her as a child or whatever, and then married the motherfucker. I mean, something ain't going wrong with that
That's
man.
what Dr. York was doing, though. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, something ain't going right with that guy.
Man, I see why he got ran out of New York. He probably touched somebody's baby.
Yep. That is nuts.
But I tell you, how these people get this stuff, and you sit right there and listen, it is the judge talking to the lawyer. You know how they have the hearing, and the judge is talking to the lawyer about his surrendering and the next court date. And so.
Oh, is that in that video you sent me?
No. No, that's Star you're looking at.
Well, Brother Polite made a video saying that he didn't do it. He didn't take a plea deal. That's what this video says right here.
Yeah, he took a plea deal because they got the recording from the court.
Oh, somebody got the court hearing. Let me see if I can download this. That was 4 hours ago.
Yeah, I was telling you where the video is about the court. The name
You know, they did the same. They did the same thing with Dr. York. Kept saying he didn't until Sarah Sudin in that damn debate played the video of Dr. York taking the plea deal.
Mm-hmm. Damn, brother.
That's probably.
Can't believe. Go ahead.
I see what you have up on the screen. Mm-hmm. Well, that might be it, because I just heard that they had the specifics from the court discussing the plea deal. So why do you think people stupid? And a lot of people are stupid. They will believe him. Mm-hmm. But
they'll believe anything, because people still believe Dr. York.
Right. They said that it wasn't him that when he confessed. They said that was a 3D image or something.
Man, I heard two, 3 different stories. I heard the other story was the only reason why he took the plea deal is because his wife was diabetic and they were holding her in jail and wasn't gonna let her out. So she needed her insulin, so he took the plea deal so she could get out of jail. I heard that too. And until you see that judge say blah blah blah, this, yes I did, and he signs that damn paper. Man, I don't give a damn what nobody say. They caught that motherfucker.
Let me. I'm gonna play this audio and see what I'm gonna see what this says.
Okay.
Yeah, play that one. That might be it.
Yeah. On page 13 of your Honor's calendar, Michael Noah.
You're okay.
Dating draft on behalf of the state.
All right, page 13. Counsel, state your name for the record.
David TRS on behalf of the defendant, Michael Noah.
Okay, thank you. And I believe there may have been a couple of people on Zoom. I don't know what the relationship was on the case. Okay, yes, ma'am. State.
Your Honor, I believe at this time we'll be asking for a joint continuance, but to set this case briefly, either sometime within the next 2 weeks. We have come to a plea agreement and sent over a written plea agreement to defense counsel. Just so that Your Honor is aware, what we wish to happen is for the defendant to enter into the plea within the next 2 weeks, but we are going to suspend the sentence. The state is asking 60 days. I know the defense is going to make its own request, but we're asking 60 days so that then the defendant can surrender, because this will require incarceration.
There you go. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
And is there going to be a mitigation at the time of surrender, or how is this going to work?
Yes, Your Honor. So essentially, he'll enter into a plea, and then we will mitigate it upon surrender.
Okay.
But we do wish to enter into a plea already within the next week, so that essentially there is a resolution to the case, and then he will surrender upon a date that's set by the court.
Next week is a C week.
Your Honor, I think we were hoping for the week, at least the week of where the trial is currently set for.
July 3rd, which is the week of July 3rd. 3rd, 4th, 5th. What is the Friday of that week? The week of the 3rd. All right, July 7th.
That works for the state.
All right, July 7th, Ray plea, defendant to be in person. Is a joint continuous. Okay, anything further on Michael Nowak?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you both. Okay, take care.
Well, I mean, they haven't entered the plea yet, but they agreed to plea. So
2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I mean, you can't get no better than that. This dude is guilty than a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Tyrone, you see what he's trying to do? He's trying to say he didn't take a plea.
Yeah.
He hasn't
Right.
to it
Right,
yet.
because
That's
the plea is
so
coming
people
up
believe
next
anything.
week.
It's coming
Well, technically he's right. He doesn't take the plea until Friday,
Goes there, right.
July the 7th. But he's already agreed. It's kind of like one of those. It's kind of like an agreement, business agreement. You agree to go into business with them. If you back out, they can sue the fuck out of your ass. So you going into that. You even required to pay some money at the time.
And the defense's representation is telling you, okay, we're going to agree to this. So some kind of deal has been struck.
Yeah, it's been struck like a motherfucker.
Give me 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. He probably told look,
she also said one more key thing. He said he will have to be there in prison because this deal requires incarceration.
No matter what. Right.
He gonna get locked the fuck up.
That's what I was saying.
Well, it ain't jail.
Right.
It ain't jail.
Play it back, man.
I'm making a point. Jail, you spend the night. Jail, you getting out of. Jail, there's some sort of process where you probably don't even have to go. But incarceration, that's prison.
He's getting sent up.
Well, I'll play it again.
He's gonna be sent up.
I'll play it again.
30, the Nelson hearing is possible to call a case on the trade. On page 13 of your Honor's calendar, Michael Noah. Agent draft on behalf of the state.
All right, page 13. Counsel, state your name for the record.
David TRS on behalf of the defendant, Michael Nowak.
Okay, thank you. And I believe there may have been a couple of people on Zoom. I don't know what the relationship was on the case. Okay, yes, ma'am. State.
Your Honor, I believe at this time we'll be asking for a joint continuance, but to set this rate free either sometime within the next 2 weeks. We have come to a plea agreement. I've sent over a written plea agreement to defense counsel. Just so that Your Honor is aware, what we wish to happen is for the defendant to enter into the plea within the next 2 weeks, but we are going to suspend the sentence. The state is asking 60 days. I know the defense is going to make its own request, but we're asking 60 days so that then the defendant can surrender, because this will require incarceration.
All right. And is there going to be a mitigation at the time of surrender, or how is this going to work?
Yes, Your Honor. So essentially, he'll enter into a plea and then we will mitigate it upon surrender.
Okay.
But we do wish to enter into a plea already within the next week so that essentially there is a resolution to the case and then he will surrender upon a date that's set by the
next week is a C week.
Your Honor, I think we were hoping for the week, at least the week of where the trial is currently set for.
July 3rd.
Which is the week of July 3rd.
3rd, 4th, 5th. What is the Friday of that week? The week of the 3rd. All right, July 7th.
That works for the state.
All right, July 7th, Ray plea, defendant to be in person. Is a joint continuous. Okay, anything further on Michael Nowak?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you both. Okay.
Yeah, that fool gonna be part of the Department of Prisons, man.
Yeah, he's going up north, and it's what they say up north, but up north in Florida. So they'll probably put him in Dade County for the night, and then they're gonna ship him out up top, and he's gonna be in the state prison, Florida State Prison. Not a nice place to be in.
So whatever the plea is, it probably involved that little girl getting some money or something, and him going to jail for sure.
That Lamborghini that he had, that he was flossing. He had a Lamborghini or something there. You might have to, look that up.
So Mama's boy is, you're right, he's technically right. He hasn't went up there and said, yes, I accept the plea. He hasn't done that yet. But they have it all arranged for him to do it.
Yeah, he came back out. He came back out of it. It's already on the court doc. He back out. They can hit him with everything.
So he was probably trying to look to knock those really bad charges down, like sexualization or whatever that shit was. So he probably want to change them around to reword it so to look less. I don't know what he's gonna do.
You know what that is, Tyrone? That sexualization of a child. You know what that is? That's grooming.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yep.
Well, he'll be off the streets. He'll be off the streets soon, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm glad it's happening to his ass.
It should have been happening to his ass, really. I bet you Sarnetta could have had it happen to his ass, but he wasn't gonna snitch on him. Cause he ran up out of New York pretty fast. Mm-hmm. You don't run up out of there that quick over owing the nigga no money in New York. That had to be somebody. He touched somebody's baby, I'm telling you.
Can I ask, what's the difference between a new Wapian and a Hotep?
No.
Different color dashikis.
Oh, okay.
Nah,
well, and
I don't know.
I don't think Dr. York was Hotepping. I think Dr. York was on some whole other shit.
His thing is a spinoff from another religion, and then he done added his stuff to his own. And remember, he said that he was like he wasn't even a human. He was an alien from another planet. And I always ask the people,
He said he was an alien.
Yes, he said he wasn't from this world.
X or something, Planet X or some weird planet. He wasn't from here. It was from another planet, Planet X or something. And then, I asked one of my peoples that was, and then, dipping and dabbing with them. I said, you know what? I said, why, if he had all these magic powers, why he didn't just magically get himself out of prison? Like just snap his fingers and get himself out if he was an alien. That he had all these magic powers, because he also claimed that he had powers. So there you go.
Angel Lady Love, she would defend Dr. York.
Whoa.
She would. And isn't Dr. York in prison forever?
Yeah, Dr. York ain't getting out.
Yeah, he in there forever.
He got hundreds of years.
Apparently, he gave some little boy a damn sexual disease.
Damn.
That's how he ended up in jail.
These people some freaks, man. But what's so sad about it is how they can manipulate black people, man.
Yeah, I agree, 1,000%. I agree. And Dr. York was a nice looking man.
Hey, he used that shit for his benefit.
His charm, his charm and all that, and his knowledge. Because the man wrote a lot of books. He's not a stupid guy. He was stupid in other ways, obviously in the dumb shit that he got himself into, and he his mindset. But the man wrote books. This is crazy. Like, you writing all these books. That's what I don't understand about some of these guys. I'm saying it doesn't matter what nationality, color they are. These guys that consider themselves genius end up falling into some stupid stuff, manipulating them, and it always has to do with sex.
Jay New York, in a way, you bringing that up it kind of goes in line with what we've been talking about on the news tonight about, because that dude with the submarine wasn't he was a smart enough dude to figure out how to make that right. But he was dumb, than a motherfucker. So it kind of all fit and polite, educated, self-educated, blah blah blah. I think he just educated in the world flammery, you know, and you know what I'm saying? The motherfucker got a nice little he got a nice little hustle going, and he just did too much.
Real happened.
Nigga just did too much. Got
Right.
Yeah, motherfucker ain't that smart. You know, I asked this question a long time ago of a Republican that used to tout Nixon. You know, how smart he was, all these degrees and blah, blah, blah. And he's president. I said, but how smart really was he? Didn't he get caught? Didn't he get caught? He like sent some people to fucking spy on a campaign that he was going to win anyway. So to me, that sounded pretty stupid. Just like polite. If this is what, you know, if what's going on is what's going on, and it sounds like legally that's what's going on, bruh, this man got a problem, and he going exactly where he belongs.
No, he's sick. He might be smart, but he's sick in the brain.
Yeah, he got a problem.
It is what it is. Well, that was some good news. I'm getting ready to go. I got to get up in the morning. But that was some excellent news to end my time on here tonight.
Yep,
I'm glad
Ant
you
dropped
did
the
that.
bomb tonight, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, I appreciate that because we hadn't heard anything else about it. Last month I looked, I didn't see anything, and they hit and come on tonight and dropped and gave us some terrific news. That's terrific news. Whew. I'm surprised Tasha K. She was one of the ones that helped to break it on social media, but I guess she got so much other stuff going on.
Yeah, Cardi B is taking all her money or something another going on with her.
Well, maybe she'll do a video or something tomorrow, but I'm surprised she hasn't said anything. I don't follow her, but I'm surprised I haven't seen where she said anything about this.
Well, yeah, I'm about like you said, somebody to get out of here. Guys, look, I'm getting ready to shut YouTube down, but the conference will remain open. So if y'all want to call in, the number to call is 717-908-1834. And then you just be on the line. I appreciate it, Sister Lisa. So you
Thank you. Yeah, as well.
Good show, good show.
Yeah, good show.
Y'all can